right, we're hopping into it. We're getting into it. I could probably listen to that beat all day, but we got to get into some news. I got some shit to talk about, some scumbags like Michael Cohen that we got to talk about. But first off, before I get ahead of myself, let's let the chat welcome in the chat. Let's everybody filter in. Everybody get comfortable. Smoke them if you got them. If you got some adult beverages popping, welcome. Cheers, prost, whatever you do, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Brian. This is Blunt Politics, the little political podcast that could just calling out some bullshit, gaslighting, propaganda from the mainstream media, Donald Trump, domestic policies, issues abroad, everything that we try to touch on here. But first and foremost, CSL, what is happening, my brother? How are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're well, my friend. Great to see you. Thank you so much for everything that you do, both for Hal and his channel, and obviously sending people this way whenever you do. So much appreciated to you. Thank you to any of the sparklers that may be filtering in. And obviously, thank you to the Bryantologist and the Blunt Politics community in general. What do you say we pop you guys on stage, give you guys a little airtime, huh? Give you guys a little airtime. You guys deserve it. What's happening? CSL, first and foremost, how are you doing? Sarah, what's going on? Tina, Bethany, No Money G, how are you? Vasantha, Tiff, and all the mods. Big salute to you guys. Thank you for what you guys do. Going through the battle in the chat down there with all the trolls. Getting a little bit more trollish. Getting a little bit more trollish in the chat, which I like. Which means it's filtering the shows, getting put out to more people, right? It's coming across more screens. Some of them may like it. Some of them may not like it. We got a couple trolls. Last show, we got a one in particular. Hopefully he's back. I think Dante, was it Dante, if I'm not mistaken? Right? I think I do remember Dante. So hopefully he's back at some point. Michigan Lover, how are you? Great to see you. Thank you so much. 9 Inch Nails, salute to you. Great to see you. Gregory, what's going on, my brother? Thank you to everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Substack, and Kick. Wherever you guys are watching from, hit that like button, share the stream out. 3 free buttons that you could hit to help me get through the old algorithm monsters. You can hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, help us get to 25,000 subscribers, and you can hit that little notification bell. That tells YouTube apparently that you like us more than you would if you didn't hit the bell. I don't know. We're just trying different things here at Blunt Politics. We're trying to get through the bullshit. But show notes. First off, before we get into a couple of the topics we'll be talking about today, I had the ability, the opportunity today to speak to Jesse Dollemore. He spoke to me a little bit about my travels in Ukraine, what it means to have a community like you guys behind us, to do things like that, what it meant to represent you guys as a community over there and handing over the vehicle. So I believe that's going to go out on his channel and maybe possibly both my channel and his channel tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. So look for that interview to go out. So yeah, thanks. If you guys could, share that out, boost that at any time, at any point, that would be fantastic. Couple of things we'll be talking about today. Obviously, you've seen the main headline. You have seen the title. You've probably seen it on your social media. Michael Cohen crawling his pathetic ass back to Donald Trump, hoping to sniff a pardon right out of that guy's ass. Just an absolute cuck, a careerist pig, an opportunist, and somebody that, just follows the money. Right? Donald Trump's fixer, a guy that used to go and harass, journalists, harass people that were doing reports on Donald Trump. You know what I mean? His little behind the scenes little gremlin that he had. He was he tried to filter his way, and to a large degree did filter his way into the broader left community. Some people gave him a platform, and he was very, very happy to take that platform and make all of the money he possibly could while lying his ass off and all the time wanting to be back into the good graces of Donald Trump, back into the inner circle. So we'll be going over the transformation, some of the things that Michael Cohen has said in the past. What he said to Donald Trump during his interview. We'll take a look at the interview as well. We also have some updates coming from Donald Trump's war with Iran. Some aggressive statements put out there by some of the Iranian officials about possible escalation. This could be because of the economic ramifications, the economic damages that are absolutely happening because of the United States blockade. That in response to Donald Trump basically saying that they're not going to bomb anymore. They're basically not going to respond. So that's kind of given Iran even further cause, kind of giving them a little bit more permission, so to speak, to kind of engage in their little tax that they've been still sending out as well. So We got some news from Ukraine, a couple updates that we got to get through from that as well. I think another Ukrainian strike on the Perm oil refinery took place. So we have Professor Gertis giving us an update on the Ukrainian strikes and attacks that happened overnight. But do we say we jump into this? Because just when you think the depravity, right? Just when you think that this administration could not be any more depraved, right? You go and you read shit like this when you wake up. So, again, being a World War II buff, being somebody that is absolutely enamored, beyond enamored with the I don't know, the whole time frame, everything that occurred, everything that led up to World War II, everything that took place during World War II, the political aspects of it, the military aspects of it, the aspects from the citizens' point of view, the point of views from all sides that were taking place. So it's something that I am very passionate about. So when I see things like this, and to a large degree, I'm sure you're familiar with this story, even if you're not, a World War II person, even if you're not somebody that's watched all the black and whites, all the documentaries, read all the books, or anything like that. But if you've seen any movies pertaining to, say, Pearl Harbor, right, then you've probably seen Doris Miller, or at least seen, portrayals of Doris Miller, who again was the U.S. sailor that was known for helping other injured sailors off of the ship during the attack at Pearl Harbor, and then manned the anti-aircraft guns to take down one of the Japanese planes. I'm sure you've seen that. The movie Pearl Harbor with Ben Affleck, I believe that portrays him in that as well, and any other movie that is about Pearl Harbor, I'm sure to some degree you'll see a portrayal of Doris Miller. Now look at this headline where it says, the Navy is now discussing renaming aircraft carrier after Donald Trump, the racist, pedophile protector, known sexual assaulter, adjudicated rapist. They're going to rename this ship. They're at least thinking or discussing about renaming this ship on the blue on the rope flicker. All right, hold on. Let me see. Does this help? Maybe that helps. All right, now we don't have to deal with it. But anyway, more important things. It says here, the USS Doris Miller would be the first aircraft carrier named after a black person and an enlisted sailor in a decision made during Trump's first term. But they're now discussing renaming it, to Trump, for Trump, as opposed to Doris Miller. It says the Navy leadership is discussing renaming a Navy aircraft carrier after President Donald Trump, according to two U.S. officials. The ship, which is still under construction, has been said to be named the USS Doris Miller in honor of an enlisted sailor who famously staffed an anti-aircraft gun during the attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii during World War II. Despite not having been trained on the weapon, Miller, a mess attendant, grabbed the gun during the attack and is credited with shooting down at least one Japanese plane and dragging wounded U.S. soldiers to safety. Miller was the first black service member to receive the Navy Cross, the Navy's second highest honor, right? So here he is receiving the Navy's second highest honor from Admiral Chester Nimitz, right? And then you can look at this. Let's just pull this up real quick. Let's learn a little bit more for anybody that's not familiar. So we're talking about Dory, known as Dory. Doris is his first name, Miller being his last name. U.S. sailor who was the first black recipient of the Navy Cross, like we just said, and a nominee for the Medal of Honor. Okay, as a mess attendant, second class aboard the battleship USS West Virginia, Miller helped carry wounded sailors to safety during the attack on Pearl Harbor. He then operated an anti-aircraft gun and, despite no prior training in gunnery, officially shot down one plane, according to Navy Department records. But Miller and other eyewitnesses claim a range of 4 to 6 that they shot down, but the one was confirmed. Miller received the Navy Cross from Admiral Chester Nimitz, like I said, on May 27, 1942. But many sailors and Navy officers believe that Miller's heroism deserved the Medal of Honor. Miller was nominated for a Medal of Honor by a congressman from Michigan and a senator from New York, and the black press enthusiastically campaigned for Miller to receive this decoration. Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox, who opposed black sailors serving in the United States in any combat role, recommended against Miller receiving the honor. No black sailor, soldier, or Marine was awarded the Medal of Honor between 1941 and 45. And in 1996, Vernon J. Baker was the only black veteran of war to be awarded the decoration while still alive. In 43, Miller was promoted to Cook Petty Officer Third Class. In November 1943, Miller was killed in action when his ship, the escort carrier Liscome Bay, was torpedoed by a Japanese submarine during the Battle of Macon in the Gilbert Islands, with the loss of 702 officers and sailors, the deadliest sinking of a carrier in the history of the United States Navy. Frigate USS Miller, FF 1091, and aircraft carrier USS Doris Miller, CVN 81, are named in honor of him. So can we just talk about this for a sec, please? Chat, can we just talk about this, right? A sailor, a hero who was known for dragging injured sailors off the ship, helping them to safety, and then in the midst of this battle, in the midst of this attack, went on to man an anti-aircraft gun after not being trained, having no gunnery experience whatsoever, and possibly taken down anywhere from 4 to 6, but at least one confirmed by the Navy, Japanese airplane, Japanese fighter, right? And that's not all. The man went on to lose his life in a Japanese torpedo attack that involved the loss of life of 702 officers and sailors. And we're thinking about renaming that ship after, again, the racist pedophile prick who's done nothing but enrich himself and damage this country since the fucking moment he stepped into politics. A guy that even before that was known as a con man, a fraudster, an absolute degenerate born with the silver spoon hanging out of his asshole, and still somehow managed to fuck that up. Still somehow managed to bankrupt fucking God knows how many companies. A guy that couldn't even get a fucking casino to work where the house always wins. But this guy's such a shit businessman. He somehow found a way to make the house lose, not just once, but several fucking times. Okay, an industry, a business where people literally come in and know they're going to lose their money. They know they're going to give you their fucking hard-earned cash, and with the possibility at some point they may win big, right? But most of the time, most of the people walk in there, they know they're leaving that money on the fucking table, right? Or at least a chunk of that money on the table. He couldn't make that fucking work. Right. So what he did was he found out that it's better for him to just be able to maybe throw some money into a bigger construction project so he can throw his name on the building and then tell everybody he rebuilt the city skyline of New York City, which is just the biggest bunch of horse shit you could possibly come up with. But this guy, Doris Miller, Dory, as he was known, an absolute hero, okay? Somebody that was denied by Frank Knox, an absolute racist himself, who, again, we heard didn't want black soldiers serving in any capacity, never mind receiving the Medal of Honor. So he was denied on that accord, right? So now we're thinking about, and the least the U.S. Navy could do, the least the U.S. military could do was name some ships after him in the honor of his sacrifice, in the honor of his service, right? And now we're coming in and thinking to replace that with Donald fucking Trump's. Like, give me an absolute break, right? If you think the depravity of this administration couldn't go any deeper, like, I mean, I give you instances like this, okay? I give you instances like headlines like this, okay? This is how you know the absolute bigotry and racism that is espoused throughout this administration and how it's now filtered down into the way that this government operates and the decisions that it makes. Point them in this direction. If anybody has any questions, if anybody's, trying to dispute that in any way, point to headlines like this, because this is it's sickening, it's disgusting, it's embarrassing. It's clearly built on racist beliefs, right? It's clearly built on the systematic racism that we see in this country and the denial that black people are any way equal or could function or could be a hero or could be awarded the Medal of Honor because of their fucking sacrifice and service and saving other individuals. Like, what else do you need to do to get the fucking Medal of Honor, right? And I know there's been other circumstances where people have done very heroic things and have not been black and have gone on to be denied the Medal of Honor for whatever reason. They didn't get hurt enough or there wasn't enough death involved, whatever the reasons may be. But in this case, it's clearly built on systematic racism, okay? It's clearly built on the fact that we now have an administration that's doing everything they possibly can to harm the lives of brown and black people, right? To deport anybody that has, darker skin, anybody that's wearing clothes that may signify them as being Latino or Hispanic or from any other country, as it were, right? It's now based on your looks. It's now based on your fucking accent, whether or not you can be stopped, whether or not you can be locked up, whether or not you can be sent to a concentration camp like fucking place that they've set up all across these countries so they could hold you in these horrendous conditions, a lot of times without any fucking cause, right? A lot of times against the law, they're holding these people. And this is just another aspect of the administration that we have to look at is shit like this. You add that onto right now Donald Trump out there praising the dictatorial, murderous leader of North Korea as he's sending weapons and 50,000 more troops to Russia so that they can engage in a war and a fight to kill ultimately our an ally that sacrificed, that gave up their nuclear stockpile, a nuclear stockpile that would have been very, very fucking useful right now, right? I think it would have made Russia think at least once, twice, three times, or possibly more before they started fucking building up on the borders of Ukraine, before they stepped foot on a fucking inch of ground on Ukrainian soil. If Ukraine still had that nuclear stockpile, that nuclear stockpile is safety, is security, which is why you see so many other countries that we're talking about right now possibly trying to push themselves to gain the access to nuclear weapons because they see what it's done for North Korea. They see what it's done for Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il. They know that they now feel secure because they can't be attacked, or at least they can't be attacked without the possibility, without knowing the possibility of, nuclear Armageddon is on the horizon, is on the table. So it's kept him safe. Just recently, launching off fucking weapons, launching off short-range missiles while the United States is engaged, or was supposed to be engaged, in a military operation, military exercises with South Korea, but they were severely diminished because Donald Trump was pissed at South Korea because they didn't want to engage in this useless, destructive war that Donald Trump's got himself stuck in. Okay, so they said no, piss off, go fuck yourself, deal with it yourself. You got yourself into it, you can get yourself fucking out of it. Why would I throw money, manpower, and equipment into that fight? You're out of your fucking tree. So that's when Donald Trump decided to say, okay, well, we can't cancel our participation, probably because a lot of ships were already there. So he said, we're just not going to, we're not going to send as many ships. We're going to cut our participation. We're going to cut our involvement as much as we possibly can to send a signal to Kim Jong-un that, we're not hostile. We don't want to be, showing and projecting our power in this area. Much like these joint exercises are two causes. They're twofold. Okay, obviously to keep the soldiers at a level of readiness, obviously to keep the soldiers and any, active equipment in the area ready and engaged in understanding of what could likely happen if an event kicked off. Like, that's one aspect. The other aspect is to send a clear signal to Kim Jong-un, right, that we are still very much allied and supportive and side by side with South Korea. We still have the ability to project our power, and we're going to be here if you decide to kick anything fucking off. This is what you can expect in return. But we sent the opposite message, okay? Trump sent the opposite message. It was the message sent was, we don't have good relationships with our allies. You don't know if we're going to come to their aid. Okay, you might fucking launch short-range missiles into South Korea. Doesn't mean Donald Trump's going to come to their rescue. Doesn't mean that Donald Trump's going to send the United States over there to help our ally in the region. Okay, that's the message being sent. The message is, do what you want over there while you're being peaceful and respectful. He's been kind. All of the things that Donald Trump's been saying over the last 24, 48 hours, and before, obviously, about Kim Jong-un. And what are we seeing? We're seeing death and destruction. We're seeing pain. We're seeing babushkas and grandmothers, wandering the streets of Kyiv looking for their fucking grandchildren in the rubble because missiles were sent over from North Korea to fucking Russia so that Vladimir Putin and Russia could launch them into Ukraine and kill, ultimately, the civilians they were targeting. So a literally direct line, a direct fucking involvement from this country, from Kim Jong-un, and we have Donald Trump, our commander-in-chief, the president of the United States of a fucking America, out there calling him respectful and peaceful, and he's been a great guy ever since he's been in office. Like, do you know how insane that is? Do you know how like history is going to look back on this moment and how insane people are going to think this timeline is? Because it is. Okay, and they're going to be absolutely fucking spot on when they say that. People are going to look back on this time in 20 years, 40 years, and they're going to say, what in the fuck was going on in the United States? What in the fuck did that devolve into? Okay, The people are suffering. The billionaires are out there and worrying about nothing but their 14th yacht, 17th helicopter, how many Swedish fucking swimsuit models they can date. Meanwhile, we're all fucking suffering to put the fucking food on the table. And we got shit like this happening. We got an absolute bigoted, racist, pedophile protected administration that's done nothing but try to ruin us and make it more difficult to live our fucking daily life. And people are going to look back on this moment when the United States president was praising the North Korean dictator as he was actively killing United States allies, as he was actively participating in the death, in the targeting of civilians in Ukraine. Like, that's the timeline that we're in. I mean, I don't know how you could do a comparison. Like, if you go back to World War II, I guess it would be, it would be FDR basically praising Hitler at this point in time. He's been very respectful. He's been very nice. I know he's lobbing missiles into Britain. I know he's sending the V1 and the V2, and even before that, it was the Blitz with the Luftwaffe. But he's been very respectful. I know he's carrying out the Holocaust by bullets, and then after that, the Holocaust with the fucking, the concentration camps that we saw after. Like, is that an apt comparison? Like, I think it is. I think it is. That's how fucking crazy it would have to be to see what we're seeing now. And it's just, it's a lot. It is. It's a fucking lot, and it's a lot to take in. That's why I appreciate you guys watching the program and hitting that like button and staying involved and staying aggressive and staying informed and staying in the fight, because it's not easy. It's fucking not easy. Doing this day after day, day in, day out, watching this, degradation of our society while these people fucking flourish and make billions of fucking dollars off the backs of scams and frauds and cons, right? It's a lot. So I give you all the credit in the world for you guys going out there and supporting these communities and watching these independent programs. Again, we hide nothing behind a paywall. We don't charge for the Substack. We don't talk to any sponsors. We don't show you any commercials here during the podcast. We try to do it the independent route. Okay, it's with your generosity, your contributions, that we can continue to flourish and continue to function. And it's just that's the way that I think is what should be done, how it should be done. And as I continue to say, if you're looking to make money, if you're looking to strike it rich and drive Ferraris and shit, then don't do it that way. Go talk to ads, go talk to sponsors and shit. But if you're looking to stay real and stay true to your beliefs, if you want to make sure that no company, no sponsor or anything like that has any sway over what you can and cannot talk about, then I think this is the way to go. It's not the way to explode onto the scene and have your channel have that explosive growth that a lot of these other channels have when they show ads and all this stuff. But here we are chugging along, continuing to grow, doing it the right way, I think. And I give you guys all the love and credit in the world in the chat for making that a possibility. All right. Next, let's jump into a little bit of Iran coverage. Let's talk about a little bit about the Strait of Hormuz. That's not it, but this is a General Keane first off, and I don't know which order I want to show these in. I have a Preston Stewart update as well, giving us some pretty good insight as to the mindset and the rhetoric coming from Iran, and if we can expect further escalation on their end. Because it seems like that's what they're gearing up for. They're gearing up for the fact that the United States won't retaliate, won't respond, isn't going to strike anymore, and is going with this economic warfare, this economic fucking World War II that Donald Trump has been bringing up. Again, it's a very sticky situation, considering he's basically asking Iraq, Turkey, China, Russia, Pakistan, all the people that Iran trades with, to cut off, in totality, all of their trade. So I don't think that we're going to be able to successfully, Donald Trump, bully Pakistan, Iraq, China, Russia, and the countries that I'm missing here that Iran has trade agreements with, trade deals with, in order to get them to stop wholesale their trade with Iran. Like, that's a very sticky situation to be forcing Xi Jinping over there in China to not trade with Iran anymore, or again Pakistan, or Iraq, right, who gets a substantial portion of their energy, if I'm not mistaken, from Iran. Like, it's a very sticky situation, and this is something that could have been done from the get-go. Like, why the bombs needed to be dropped, why we needed to sneak attack, the Ayatollah as we're engaged in negotiations. Like, why the negotiations couldn't have been this? Why couldn't it have been the economic route, right? Sustained economic pressure, right, through this route, whatever he wants to do. If they think they can accomplish this, I doubt they fucking can. I doubt China and Iraq are going to be like, okay, yep, we're going to cut off all our trade and everything that we get and all our energy and all the money that we get from, sending goods back and forth to Iran. But yeah, sure, go ahead. We'll cut it off. It's just not going to happen, right? I'll raise my hand if I'm wrong, if it does come true, but I can't see it happening. But all right, let's get into. I'll say we'll do the Preston Stewart video first, and then we're getting into the propaganda from Fox News and the long-faced general after that. But this gives some, like I said, pretty good insight into the mindset, rhetoric, and what we might expect from Iran going forward. So very much appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hitting that like button and engaging in the chat, sending in super chats and super stickers. There's also a Venmo up in the corner. Again, this is an independent channel. We don't take money from any outside sources. There's no dark fucking organizations that are feeding us, money behind the scenes or teaching us how to do content creation or anything like that. So Venmo up in the corner. All we ask for is $1 or $2. Again, we're not trying to bankrupt anybody. We don't want to put you in the financial hole. But if you do have $1 or $2 you found in the washer or the dryer, between the couch cushions, whatever it is, there's a Venmo up in the corner. You can send that. If you think we're deserving of more, then I'm not going to stand in your way. But again, I'm not going to sit here and demand $1 million from everybody, especially because so many of you guys have been tuning in for so long and keeping this show going. So again, I'm trying to take the burden off of you guys by growing the platform, by growing the audience, and then again, you can see how the burden would lessen for every person. All right, let's get into this. Thanks to Preston Stewart for putting these videos together. Shout out to Preston. This is Iran prepares to strike as sanctions bite. So again, this is, I think, showing that Iran notices the economic pressure, notices the economic situation, and they kind of have two choices, right? They kind of have the escalation choice, right? The continued bombing to see if they can, gain further power, gain further control of the area, or they got to get out of it. Like I think one of the ministers, one of the officials you're going to hear him say in this coverage, basically, should we get out of this right now while we have basically the dignity, while we have kind of the upper hand and the world views it as an Iranian victory at this point? Should they kind of, I don't know if you'd call it cutting their losses, or should they kind of not take it any further? I think is the ongoing discussions in the inner workings of the Iranian leadership. But all right, let's take a look at this Preston Stewart video. I'm going to pump it up as far as playback speed just a touch so we can get through a little bit more during the show, and hit that like button. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all the sparklers that have come over. Thank you, obviously, to the Blunt Politics community for everything that you guys do, the super chats, the super stickers, signing up for the Patreon at patreon.com/Boston Brian. You can also sign up for a YouTube membership just underneath me. Should be a little button somewhere in this general vicinity that you can hit. You can also gift memberships to other people in the chat. If you see some other people that aren't members yet, you see them hanging around in the chat all the time, you have a couple bucks to kick back in, think about sending a couple memberships, in the way of the chat for chatters in there. But all right, getting into this. Sorry to stall. Let's get into it.
So the United States says that we will not be returning to large-scale kinetic operations in Iran anytime soon, as we wait for the economic pressure to, quote, collapse the regime. But here's the thing. That might actually prompt the return to fighting that President Trump is hoping to avoid. See, while Iran is certainly feeling the impact of the blockade and sanctions, hardliners inside of the regime are arguing that the time to strike is now. Force the United States to an actual agreement before the economic situation deteriorates even further.
And that's that weakness that I've been talking about, that Donald Trump, unfortunately, has allowed to be projected throughout the world as far as our military capabilities, right? Our military prowess. Around the world. I'm not saying they're not capable. I feel like they are absolutely very capable, and I think they have the manpower and equipment to do anything that's necessary to not only protect our homeland, but also, project our power abroad. It's the leadership, right? It's the CENTCOMs. It's the leaders at Pentagon. It's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It's Pete Hegseth. It's Donald Trump. It's the rest of these people. It's fucking Hung Kao, right? That psychopath. That's obviously in the undersecretary, I believe, something along those lines. But that's the reason. Like, people know that we're short on ATACMS. We're short on Tomahawks. We're short on THAAD missiles. We're short on Patriots. And I'm sure there's other munitions that I'm leaving out. And they know when they hear Donald Trump talking about our defense contractors literally building factories at a rapid pace, don't know if that's even remotely true. But even the thought, even the sentence coming out of the president's mouth that they're forced now to build more factories just goes to show that the supply chain issues are real, right? You wouldn't be forced to go and build another 4 factories, like he said, that every other defense contractors were trying to build. And the amount of time that it takes, getting the permitting, construction in general, finishing the building, getting the production facility set up, getting people educated, hiring people, telling them how to do. I'm like, that takes time. So it's going to be a considerable amount of time before and if they're even building their factories to the time that those missiles, drones, interceptors, whatever it may be, actually get to be used, right? Actually get to the stockpile of the U.S. military. And bad actors around the world have recognized this, are taking notice, see these reports, and they're fucking, the wheels are turning like, okay, is this the time? Is this the moment where the U.S. military is at its weakest, where they have the dumbest fucking leadership humanly possible for now, say, Xi Jinping to attack Taiwan, or if Kim Jong-un actually launches a short-range missile at South Korea, or if Putin decides to do something to a NATO country, like, any of these things that start to happen, you can see how this becomes a very big issue as far as what the United States is able to do on multiple fronts. Like, obviously, anybody that knows anything about war or military, you want to avoid at all costs trying to fight on multiple fronts. You'd like to keep it a one-front war so you could keep your men and your ire focused on that area, and you can come up with different tactics in order to defeat the enemy. Double front, 3-front war, multiple fronts, it becomes increasingly more complicated, right? Supply chains. We've seen it already with Iran. This war in the Middle East, having the supply chains interrupted, has obviously had an effect on the sailors, soldiers, and airmen that are on the ships floating around out there, right? So you can see just already the impacts and how complicated it would be even for supply, just to feed the sailors, okay? We're not talking about munitions. We're not talking about actually setting up the military to a degree where you could attack, where you have sufficient, people, ammunition, and equipment in a certain area. Like, that's a whole different fucking ballgame. It takes a lot of manpower, equipment, machinery, boats, ships, barges. Like, it takes a village. You know what I mean? So I don't think that right now, if anybody were to ask me, do you think the U.S. military is capable of fighting a multiple front war? If any of these dictators, if any of these bad actors decide to actually do what they've been threatening to do for quite some time now, and I would say no. I would say that we don't. I think we have the power. I think we have the skill set. We have the soldiers to do it, but I just don't think we have the leadership in power right now that would be able to handle that adequately at all. They just, if you couldn't see that the Strait of Hormuz was going to be the instant retaliation from the Iranians when you snuck attack them, then I have no trust whatsoever that you know anything that's going to happen going forward. Okay, that goes for CENTCOM, that goes for the Pentagon, that goes for the Navy, all of them. If they weren't stepping up in some of these meetings and saying, sir, I understand you want to attack. I understand this and I understand that. I understand Benjamin Netanyahu's licking your earlobe, telling you this is going to be a fantastic operation and a quick operation. But we better plan for just in case this goes south, okay? Just in case we get into a prolonged battle, we should maybe think about what Iran's going to do in retaliation. We should probably send added protection, added interceptors around these U.S. military bases. We should probably inform the U.S. soldiers on these bases so they could adequately build up defenses, or maybe like they did, what were they staying in, hotels and stuff? They had to evacuate the bases in some cases. Like, that would have been nice to know beforehand. It would have been nice to know before the fucking missiles started hitting the base that they were able to, go off base or go stay in this place or another to stay safe. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been something you would have thought about. You would have sent ships into the Strait of Hormuz. If you thought you had the manpower and equipment and you could adequately defeat Iran's military capability, you would have sent your ships into the strait immediately so they couldn't take it over. Right? Am I wrong or am I right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat if you think this is, out of bounds, but I don't think so. I think it's very likely, if you ask somebody how stupid it is to not think about the constant or instant retaliation, I should say, throughout through the Strait of Hormuz and through these U.S. bases and obviously our Gulf allies that they've been threatening and saying, hey, if you attack us, we're going to do A, B, and C. Like, I think that makes you a moron. I think that makes it so I don't have any level of trust in your decisions moving forward. So, again, that this is the moment in time that a lot of bad actors are looking at the U.S. military and its leadership, and they're fucking, they're licking their chops right now and thinking, is this the time to act? Iran being one of them. Is Iran saying, okay, this is the moment where Donald Trump knows he can't strike back, so should we strike more? You could hear it. That's the conversation going on in the background here with the IRGC leadership, and I'm sure the broader Iranian government.
Now, just yesterday, speaking to this, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, talking about the added sanctions and economic means being levied against Iran, said, quote, "It is a 1-2 punch. We have the blockade on Iran, and we're going to have the toughest sanctions in history. It's going to work in Iran, and we're going to collapse this regime." I feel like that's the first time we've talked about or heard the government talk about collapsing the Iranian regime since the early days of the conflict.
And again, don't bypass the fact that this all could have been done without wasting, without expending, right? 18 U.S. men and women, 18 U.S. servicemen and women, right? Hundreds and hundreds of injuries, a lot of which have been severe injuries, right? So all of that we've gone through, the economic ramifications, the increase in the price of gas and oil and groceries and everything fucking else that's come from this this fight. This could have been, or that could have been eliminated. That could have been completely fucking just not a thing, okay? This is something they always could have done. This is something they always could have pulled out, but did they? No. They waited until we faced the ramifications. We waited until we had 18 U.S. servicemen and women that were dead because Donald Trump's using the military as his personal Gestapo force. And now they're coming out with the economic World War II sanctions. Like, this all could have been done while they were engaged in negotiations, while the Ayatollah was still alive. That's how insane this is, okay? That's how much of a capitulation this is. They've now totally given up on the war aspect, as it were. Like, do you understand how fucking crazy that is? Started a war, fucked it up, got their ass kicked, economic ramifications, bad things happening around the world, jet fuel, diesel, fertilizer, you name it. Things were put under fucking, things were put under pressure. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, forget that. Can we throw that in the trash? Nobody remember that we just fucking, bombed a bunch of girls in a girls' school, 170 or so. Don't mind the war crimes. Don't mind the civilian infrastructure that we destroyed. Can we all forget that? Like, it's fucking insane. It's absolutely, like, we're going to do the economic right now. Like, okay, where the fuck was this to begin with? Where the fuck was this before people had to die? Right? Before missiles were hitting U.S. bases. Right? Before ships were sunk in the Strait of Hormuz. Like, where the fuck was this idea? Like, okay, yep, okay, we'll Men in Black everybody. We'll hit them with the laser beam in the eyes, and everybody will just forget the war that we just went through. It really is. The whole thing is just, it's a timeline that it's going to be very, very difficult to explain later on in life, right? When you got your grandkids on your knee, on your lap, sitting there in your rocking chair on the porch, smoking your cigar, drinking your Budweiser, whatever it may be that you do, you're going to have to be like, I don't know. Hey, Grandpa, hey, Grandma, what was it like when that fat fascist pedophile prick was running this country? And you're going to be like, do you have the time? Because boy, oh boy, do we have some things to say about that timeline. But all right, let's go on with this Preston video. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Brian. This is the Blunt Politics Podcast. We're just going over a little bit of the news coming from Iran, the news coming from the Strait of Hormuz, this new, again, economic sanction route, what that entails. Like I said, the trade partners of Iran are basically now being asked to cut off all trade, all access, all communication, so to speak, of, financially, money-wise, and imports and exports with Iran. And it's, again, these Turkey, Iraq, Pakistan, Russia, China, not necessarily countries that we have, great relationships with and that are like apt to listen to our demands, especially when Scott fucking Bessent's the one out there speaking on your behalf. Like, I don't find him to be too intimidating, Like, it's just, I don't think that they're sending the proper signal, let's just say.
Quote, "If we are doing the maximum economic pressure, then that means that likely there will not be a large-scale kinetic restart." So we've clearly gone the route of economic warfare, trying to choke off Iran and force them to the negotiating table.
That's a good point, Jim, though. That's a good point, though. Jim says the 47 administration can't walk and chew gum at the same time, and they get bored really quickly. I mean, that's kind of what we see with Donald Trump in general, right? Just on like a broader 30,000-foot view look. Like, that's what he does. Like, it's the helipad, or it's the ballroom, or it's always these little things that get his attention for a short period of time, and then he's on to the next thing, It's much like his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and what we know he definitely did with that son of a bitch. Right? It's just one thing to the next, one party to the next, or one building to the next, one project to the next, and then he forgets about it, doesn't worry about it. Now it's a war, right? Now he started a war and he got bored with it. He fucked it up. He's not getting the victory that he thought. So he wants to end it as quickly as possible. He wants to get out of this while still somehow trying to maintain that like aura of victory, but he's just never going to get it. And this is what happens. He gets sick of it. He gets tired. The outcome that he wanted is not coming, and then he wants to move on to something else. So that's it. It is. It's they can't walk and chew gum at the same time, and they're just again. It's like that dog in Up. It's like squirrel. Anytime he sees something, and okay, gold. We should probably change it to gold. It's crazy. Oh, thank you, Bob. I see Bob said he liked and subscribed. Thank you so much. I believe it was a Bob. It reset after that, but thank you so much. Yeah, the fool's gold galore. Right? I mean, that's we should name the fucking White House that. The Fool's Gold House. Absolutely. It's shameful. All right, let's get back into this real quick. We got a bunch to get through today. I'm sure I'm probably going to go over time, but that's just what I do. All right, let's get back into it.
I do want to stress that this could have been done at the same time as kinetic operations, could have been done ahead of. There's no requirement that this is done in lieu of or separate to kinetic operations, but we've made pretty clear that our preference right now is economic warfare over kinetic strikes, lethal activity. Now, there's also the question of off-ramps right now. Both Iran and the United States in recent weeks and months have put forward pretty maximalist demands, with President Trump calling for unconditional surrender towards the beginning of the conflict. And that always raises the debate. I mean, we like to look at World War II and say unconditional surrender, look, it worked. There's another side to this as well, where I think there's a genuine conversation about when you demand unconditional surrender or complete capitulation from the adversary, does that force them to dig in and fight longer than if there was some sort of middle ground off-ramp? I think that's a real consideration we have to keep in mind.
Right. I mean, he's 100% right. He's 100% right. I mean, we've talked about it endlessly, the fact that you can't bomb a civilian population, or again, it's very difficult to bomb a civilian population into capitulation. We saw that World War II with the British citizens. You saw it with the Japanese. You saw it with Germany. Different aspects of that as well. It's kind of the same thing. Are you forcing them, the wild animal into a corner here where they're going to inevitably have to lash out if they think the economic pressures, or if they think this isn't going to go the way that they want it to go, right? If they think they're going to be in any way harmed, hurt, or taken out of power, then clearly they're going to think about fighting back. They're going to think about utilizing the military capabilities we know they still have to some effect. So again, demanding the unconditional surrender is one thing if you think you can get it, but demanding unconditional surrender when you're not in a position of power, right? When you're on the back foot, when you don't have control of the Strait of Hormuz, when, again, you're low on stockpiles, when you're low on interceptors, when, other things are happening that, basically show that you're not strong. You have the problems with the ships and the U.S. sailors, right? The mental aspect and people trying to jump off the ships, and the lack of food and running water and toilets and showers and stuff like that. Like, these all kind of add up, troop morale, it's a huge aspect as well, but it's just, it's a thing you got to worry about when you demand this, especially when you're not in the position to do it. Like World War II, demanding unconditional surrender, we had the power. The Allies had the power. United States had overwhelming production power, right? Overwhelming air power, overwhelming naval power, right? Just along with Britain and the rest of the Allies, we knew that unconditional surrender was a thing that we could enact, something that we could make happen. How long it was going to take, how many people had to suffer, how much had to be destroyed was another debate to be had. But the fact was that they absolutely had the manpower, and equipment to make sure that the Nazis inevitably came to total and complete surrender. We don't have that right now. We might have it as far as manpower and equipment, but the administration and the leadership doesn't know how to wield that, right? Not saying they should at all, but I'm saying they're proving right now that they have no fucking clue what they're doing, and they're getting their ass kicked at every turn. And now it's the possibility of Iran striking out again when the United States is saying that we're going to hold back and try to go the economic route. So, yeah, I think he's 100% right.
Right now. And when looking at the sanctions and the blockades, this is not a question of will they work? Will they do damage to the Iranian economy? They are. We've always known that would be the case. The question is if this will be enough to force an Iranian surrender within an acceptable time period. What I mean by that is if we put this blockade and expand these sanctions to maybe China, like economic warfare against China that is doing business with Iran. So
essentially, that's what it is. That's why I think it's a very sticky situation and a difficult position that Donald Trump and Scott Bessent have just created because of the trade partners of Iran, right? Again, What are we going to try to bring Turkey to say they're not going to trade with Iran anymore? We're going to try to ask China to say, hey, no trade with Iran anymore. Iraq, which again I think gets a substantial portion of its power from Iran, like were they just going to not get their energy? They're just not going to get it. Like I don't see how, in fact, that this is actually going to work out. I understand trying to put economic pressure on Iran, absolutely, and I think it's something that should have been done first off. I think that should have been the first route: is any and all sanctions, any and all economic pressures, even if it did involve, some sort of naval presence, right? Like I would have been okay with that rather than the bombing of the girls' schools, rather than the taking out of the infrastructure, rather than the sneak attack assassination of their Ayatollah. Like this is all something that could have been done well before we saw the death and destruction and the economic, ramifications that we've been dealing with so far from this attack.
Significant in a lot of ways. If we do that, and that manages in, say, a month to get Iran back to the negotiating table to maybe start talking about their nuclear program, that's not a victory. We can't do that. That means...
So I know for the sake of time, I'm going to skip ahead real quick where he's talking about some of the comments from the Iranian side here. So let me just go through this part, and then we'll show you the long-faced general on with Fox and what he's saying about this situation. We can kind of compare and contrast.
Earlier stressed that the government does not deny the shortages and that it would be better to end the war now while Iran is in a position of strength and dignity. The entire world recognizes its victory.
So that's one side of it, right? So that's the one side of the fight that's going on in the inner workings of the Iranian government. Is this now the time where, again, we're all recognizing that, if it was a football game, or if it was a game, obviously it's not, but anybody looking at it would clearly see that, Iran was the winner. Iran came out with more points in this whole thing. They've gained more power. They've gained more control over the strait. They've showed everybody their military capabilities against Iran and Israel. Like, I don't want them to win. I don't want Iran to be the fucking the victors in this. I didn't want Donald Trump to start this war in the first place. I thought it was fucking ridiculous, and I continue to think it's ridiculous. But if we're looking at it and we're fucking being true, we're being real, then it looks like to me Iran came out of this with much more and still has the opportunity to come out with much more than any benefit the United States could hope to see. Anything, ever. So, I mean, again, it's hard to come out with any other conclusion, but this is one side of the fight going on. Is this now the peak? Are we at the peak where people think we're the highest in power? We have kind of the good standing, not good standing, but people are now forced to respect their control in the area. We can put it that way. Is this now the time where we could kind of end this and continue this control that we have and hope to, just keep it as is? And then the other side is the IRGC, I'm sure, trying to say that, no, we should bomb the shit out of these motherfuckers. And that's kind of the internal fight here.
Ghalibaf stated that no matter how much military power Iran possesses, if the people are hungry, it will not be able to endure. And these public acknowledgments of the pain that Iran is feeling is significant. And there's one way to look at this, I think, with rose-colored glasses and say they're on the brink. If we just push a little bit harder, we might actually bring them around. But I think there's another side here as well. New York Times quoted Dennis Ross, a former Middle East negotiator, saying Iran now reads President Trump as not wanting to escalate militarily. I think that's fair based off everything we've seen. They said that creates an incentive for Iran then to show that might be an option for them. So if they know that we are desperately trying to avoid a continuation of the conflict in terms of military strikes, that might be a card that Iran looks to now that they no doubt are feeling more and more pressure. But before diving into...
So it's it's a situation where they can feel emboldened, right? It's a situation where now they could do these tit for tat strikes. They can continue every now and again taking out or launching on or, targeting, putting a mine in the Strait of Hormuz. The Houthis, right? They could, cause trouble in the Red Sea, cause some trouble with the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, send missiles into Israel or send missiles into and against the Yemenis government, whatever it may be. And they know, at least by the the statement coming from the United States, that they don't want to have to go into escalation anymore. They don't want to have to go into expending their stockpile, which again is probably a huge thought, is a huge concern, and a huge reason why they've backed off the the continued bombing, the continued nightly campaigns that they were going through. That has to be a huge aspect. That's why the fight at Camp David between Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump even happened. So the fight was real. That the stockpile shortages are real. And that's why, again, it's emboldening Iran to be like, okay, is this the moment? Okay, is this the moment where we show the world how weak we think the United States is and how much military power we still have left? Do we have more to gain? Are we more likely to get the $400 billion in frozen assets back if we show the United States we're going to continue to strike their bases? Meanwhile, Donald Trump's still trying to find a way out, and he's walking around talking about fucking helipads outside the White House. Like, you can see what's going on here. So I think that's a good point to make. Let's jump into a little bit of the long-faced general, as I call him, General Keane here on Fox News, just so we can do a little bit comparing and contrasting on, the reporting there coming from Preston, what he's seeing and hearing from, the Iranian side, and obviously the United States rhetoric and statements and what they say. And I'm curious how that compares here to Fox News and General Keane.
President Trump says the U.S. is making progress against Iran while still warning about the persistent threats of Tehran's nuclear program.
I think we're doing very well. We are letting people know about that. We're letting people know that, it's wonderful to say everything's good, but you can't. If you had a country like that, and they're crazy, if you had a country like that, they would absolutely use the nuclear weapon without question.
And if I'm not mistaken, I haven't watched it, wanted to watch it with you guys. I think this is from his interview, his little discussion he had with fucking despicable, disgusting, pathetic Michael Cohen. Which we'll get to in a second. So if anybody's waiting for that, please stick around. We're going to get into the whole Michael Cohen discussion with Donald Trump. We're going to look at some of the past comments of this fucking careerist pig actor, phony fraudster, Michael Cohen, in just a bit. So stick with us. We're going to go over this, just finish off the Strait of Hormuz and the Iran conversation, and we'll dive into that. And I think we have a little bit more from Natalie Hopp, too. A little bit more from some letters from Natalie Hopp, and they are fucking weird, guys. So stick around, hit that like button. Really do appreciate everybody in this community, the family that we've built here. I really do feel like it's a family, and everything that you do for this channel, it is very much appreciated. So, all right, let's continue.
And so I stopped that, and I stopped at Cole with the B-2 bombers.
But pickaxe is still out there, and this fight isn't only on the battlefield.
Even Brian Kilmeade has to chime in and say Pickaxe Mountain is still out there. Again, the place where the Iranians have that centrifuge that the U.S. intelligence apparently didn't know about during Operation Midnight Hammer because they kind of forgot that one. Whoopsies, oopsie poopsies.
This week, the commander-in-chief threatening Iran with an economic D-Day. Let's bring in Fox News senior strategic analyst for the Institute of Study of War. How do you feel about Operation Economic Fury, General?
Fuck you, Kilmeade. Economic Fury. So you didn't like the Epstein Fury name that everybody got it? We're now changing it to fucking Economic Fury. What was the last one? Operation Freedom Journey. What the fuck was the last one they had? These people are just absolute degenerates. Like, they are the most simple-minded motherfuckers on the planet. Yeah, we'll just it's economic, and we'll just call it the economic D-Day. We'll call it the economic plan.
I feel really good about it. If anybody can pull this off, it's Secretary Bessent, based on what he's done in the past since the war began here.
What the fuck? And pardon my French, sorry, not sorry, but what the fuck has Scott Bessent done since this war started? Fucking please tell me, enlighten me on what Scott Bessent has done for this country that has now given you all of this trust, right? All of this belief in this new economic plan that they've set forth. I'd love to know, because I haven't seen a goddamn thing that the guy's done. I've seen nothing but instability with the oil markets. I've seen nothing but fucking rising gas prices. I've seen nothing but rising prices for clothes. I've seen nothing but rising prices for groceries. I've seen nothing but rising prices for healthcare, for fucking mortgage, for rent. You name it, it's going up. You got to buy a car? Well, they're more expensive. You want to buy a house? Fucking good luck. You must have hit the lottery, right? You want to buy a t-shirt? Double the price you think it was. You want to buy some sneakers, hit the ATM again because you don't have enough, I assure you. So what the fuck has Scott Bessent done for anybody in this country since this war started? Please enlighten me.
And he certainly has the history of Iran and how they've been able to avoid sanctions.
He certainly has the history of Iran. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean exactly, General? He has the history of Iran.
Past. But the fact that this plan is so comprehensive, I think it's got a real chance of working under his leadership and a task force he's got going.
Sidebar, chat. Does he have a penis nose? Does this guy have a penis on his nose? Is this guy actually the judge from Nothing But Trouble? Just noticing that. I don't know. Sorry, I just caught me by surprise there. Looks like he's got a little chub there on the nose.
I mean, we're really talking about shutting down everybody who does business with them. And we can start right with the countries on their border. Pakistan just this month made a deal with Iran to increase their trade as a result of it. And it's no secret that.
So listen to what's going on here. So at the same time, he's talking about these new trade deals that have been done with countries like Pakistan and Turkey and Iraq and Russia and China, right? Like they're doing deals with Iran, and this whole plan is to axe that, is to cut that off entirely. Or what? We're going to punish these countries, so then we're going to have, economic trade wars with Turkey, Iraq. We're going to have economic trade wars even further with Russia, which, I have no fucking problem with that. Sanction the shit out of them if there's any sanctions left, which there shouldn't be. I don't know if there's a pile of sanctions somewhere that we could slap on Russia and they haven't been slapped on yet. That is a fucking absolute failure by everybody in the United States fucking government. But it just doesn't make any sense that the United States thinks that they're going to be able to just shut all of this trade off. Like, it's great to say. Sounds great. Sounds like it would be a huge problem. But I just don't see how the inner workings are going to. I don't see Xi Jinping being like, okay, sure, we'll cut it off. Don't worry. Yeah, we won't make or sell or do any of the thing that provides for our companies, that provides for the industries that actually do trade with Iran. I'm sure Turkey will be fine with that. Don't worry about it. It's just that I don't see it happening. But here he's even acknowledging the new trade deals, not old ones, but ones that are being made during the war to do this, that, or the other thing. So, I just don't see it reversing. You know what I mean?
Now, Iran has increased their exports and transit through Pakistan into their two ports that they have to maintain some revenue source for themselves. And, of course, Pakistan is supposed to be an ally of ours, and that's very questionable going all the way back to our history with them. With Afghanistan. Can't get into the details of classified reporting, but they have been troublesome for some time.
He knows a guy. If I tell you, I got to kill you, is what General Jack Keane wants you to know.
The President will get on that, and I think he'll nail that thing down. The other thing is recognize also that there's two military operations that are supporting this. One is the very successful blockade that's taken place and literally has shut down all of Iran's exports out of any of their ports. And the second thing is the task force that the 82nd is running in assisting the shipping in the southern route off the coast of Oman, where they organize the ships to enter empty and organize the ships to leave from the north full and protect them en route in doing that. And that has been very successful.
Has it?
A classified operation because they don't want to reveal.
And this is the big lie, right? This is another one of the big lies that they're telling right now. Oh, there's a ton of ships the oil getting through. You wouldn't believe it. You couldn't even believe the amount of oil that's getting through the Strait of Hormuz. Might even be more than when it was fucking, a free international waterway that didn't have mines or bombs or drones being shot at it. But, it's unbelievable. You won't believe it. Meanwhile, we look at the experts. We look at people that they are laser focused on the Strait of Hormuz and what happens even if they turn off their transponders, even if they fucking happen in the dark, like these large vessels. What are they? I always forget it. LVLCZs, fucking something like that. Large, really large, extremely large vessels, something along those lines. I always forget it. My bad. But you know what I'm talking. Like, people can still understand when these fucking huge ships are traveling somewhere. So we look at this. Let me pull this up for you because I did see this by Drop Site News along the same lines. So let's read this. It says KPLER, right, recorded 10.7 million barrels of west to east liquid tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, and listen to the dates here, from August 14 to August 20, okay? An average of just 1.53 million barrels a day, a sharp contrast from the 10 million barrels per day that the figure that the U.S. is giving Axios. So the U.S. is out there, and Donald Trump is trying to say it's 10 million barrels a day or more that's getting through the Strait, and the experts are saying, I don't see it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I know you got these little sneaky maneuvers of sneaking them out at night, but we can still see these huge vessels. Somebody tell me in the goddamn chat what the acronym is. What am I looking for here? I'm searching for it in my head still. LLVC something? Petroleum anyway, let me know in the chat because it's killing me. So it says only 14 outboard tankers were observed during the entire week between August 14 and August 20. 14 outbound tankers the entire fucking week. You know how I've told you it's been like single digits? It's been like 3, 4, 5. Sometimes it was like 12 or 13 I saw, right? Well, this says the officials claim that for 2 weeks, 15 to 20 tankers had moved in and out of Hormuz every night through U.S. protected corridor, carrying millions of barrels daily. It says that it cautions that figures may change and add more vessels position data becomes more available, including ships traveling with their tracking system switched off. But the currently observed traffic is nowhere near the scale Washington describes. And you can see here, Strait of Hormuz tanker transits west to east, and it's all VLCC. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you, Cats and Jam. Thank you. Figures, as you tell me, I see it here on the screen. Very large something. Very large crude carrier, I think is what that stands for. But I can never remember it. So thank you, Cats and Jam. Much appreciated. And anybody else that sent that in as well. What's going on? Punishable, what's that say? Punishable beaten? What's happening, bro? What's going on, my man? Thank you for being here. Hope you can hit that like button, subscribe if you enjoy what you're watching. We're just kind of going over a little bit of the lies from the White House, talking about the discrepancies between what Donald Trump and the White House say are coming through the Strait of Hormuz as far as ships and oil, and then what the experts and what people can actually confirm. So obviously vastly different than anything that Fox News and the White House are saying. But that's why we compare and contrast these two, somebody that's down to earth, somebody that's based in reality, somebody that's giving you the truth and the facts, like Preston Stewart. And then we go on and we watch Fox News and how they have to build up the White House, though, how they have to, kind of obfuscate the truth and kind of make you feel like things are all hunky-dory or that we're stronger in this position, in this situation than we actually are. Well, speaking about stronger in position, speaking about really, really being tied at the hip with somebody, talking about a stage 5 clinger here, we're going to go into a little bit of the new Natalie Hobb coverage because there are some new data points, there is some new information, and a couple letters that have now been put out there on social media from Natalie Hobb to Donald Trump. But I wanted to start here. I just wanted to show you what devotion looks like, okay? I wanted to show you what sycophancy looks like in action. You got fucking 10 golf carts going around, and I don't know where they are. I'm assuming it's one of Trump's golf courses, right? If you're going to tell me that they don't have more than 10 golf carts for the people at that fucking at the resort, at the golf course, I don't know what, that's just asinine, okay? Somebody was fucking with this poor girl. Somebody said, no, sorry, we have no carts. Meanwhile, there was about 150 carts somewhere in the background because this poor woman, this psychopath, is literally running the course behind Donald Trump as his fat, orange, diaper-wearing, disgusting, lard-ass piece of shit, pedophile, prick-ass, motherfucking piece of shit, the rest, is golfing. She's running behind it. I mean, add that to where she was jumping in the trunk of the vehicle with the Secret Service so that she could get close proximity to Trump because they told her they had no room to take her in the convoy. Like, this is wild stuff here, ladies and gentlemen, because you're looking at a picture of Natalie Hobb literally chasing Donald Trump in his golf cart. Quite literally chasing him in his golf cart. I mean, wild shit here. And again, I forget where the info came out from, but apparently somebody told her that they had no golf carts. It might be in her letter, actually. Let's pop up the letter real quick, because I do have the letters here that I want to go over with you guys as well. So this is from Philip Lewis on Twitter. It says the Daily Beast published letters that Trump's 35-year-old aide, Natalie Hobb, allegedly wrote to him. Then it goes on to quote, "You are all that matters to me," but we're going to take a look at these letters here. So again, apparently letters left to or sent to Donald Trump by his sycophantic, robotic, Stepford wife-like printer in, what do they call the human printer? So this is one of the letters, and I just want to read it to you guys because, boy, oh boy, is this fucking awkward. Can I boost it up on your screen a little bit, zoom in? Why doesn't it let me do that? This site sucks. Twitter is the worst. All right, let me get back into it. All right, let's take a look. We'll read this together. Dear Mr. President, okay? It says, I'm sorry. First off, we're apologizing right off the bat. She's already showing submissiveness, right? She's already showing that she is willing to be submissive and willing to bend the knee, to apologize for any misguided things that she said or any way that she hurt the cult, anything like that, because this is the most cult-like shit I've ever seen. Okay, I'm not hip on cults. I'm not a big cult studier. Obviously, I've heard them been referenced, and I've seen them on the news and shit like that. Getting more educated as far as cults now. Been doing this for some 10 years now, talking about Donald Trump and politics and that cult. But this is cult. Okay, this is the shit that we're talking about when you say sycophancy. So let's go on. So it says, I'm sorry. I thought I was the only one left behind last night and had no idea Margot's car was also pulled over and sent back to the airport. Since I was alone in the van outside customs with my passport, I panicked and I should have just called Secret Service instead of you. So she's like apologizing that she called Donald Trump directly when she should have called the Secret Service for some reason, right? So apparently somebody got pissed. And again, there's been rumblings in the background of people in the administration that kind of have huge questions, right? Huge concerns about Natalie Harp. I don't think she has a security clearance. I don't think she was filling out the forms, right? There's been a lot of people, I think it's been reported, to kind of raise the red flag as far as Natalie Harp is concerned. But let's go on because it gets worse. So she's apologizing for calling Donald Trump apparently directly there. She's also apologizing, again, more apologies. I also am sorry if I was an embarrassment walking the course in Scotland. So that's the picture that we just saw. I would be pretty sure that this is going to be in Scotland, right? I think you can actually read his golf cart if I could zoom in. I think it says Trump Turnberry. So obviously his Turnberry course in Scotland there. So I believe this is exactly what she's referencing. I'm sorry if I embarrassed you by running. And then she's going to go on. We'll go on in the letter. And I believe she explains that she's so dumb she actually believed that somebody said that there was no carts left on the course. Got to be hundreds of them bastards around. Hundreds of those bastards around. All right, let's go on. So it says, the first day I was told there were no carts and people walked, which is why I walked. Now let's go back to the picture. Now, at what point, right, would you be like, hey, somebody told me there were no carts and that people walk, and I'm looking at 17 golf carts, right? Like, at what point would you be like, they're in carts? Like, you told me everybody walked. Why? I'm seeing vehicles. Can I get a vehicle here, or do I have to walk the fucking 18 holes? I got to walk the 7,216 yards here while everybody else's fat ass drives. Like, what's going on here? Like, that would be my response. Sorry, nobody drives. They all walk, and the first thing you have to do is run down the first fairway chasing a golf cart. Like, what? Holy shit! Like, at what point, lady, do you snap out of it? All right, back to the letter. It says, I was told there were no carts. People walked, so that's why I walked. The second day, I was specifically asked by, I forget who his name was, but one of the main people who worked there, if I could continue walking and tell any other girls who would head out there to do the same, to spare the course any more carts. They're literally saying, no, you don't deserve a cart. You can't give you a cart. You walk. I just can't fucking imagine that. Like, imagine playing in a shotgun golf tournament or any golf tournament, right? And you get there and you're with your wife or your partner or your friend, and they're like, no, you're the one that has to walk today. Everybody else gets a cart. You got to walk this bitch. Like, what? And it's not even just one day. She even says the second day, somebody else, they were fucking with her. They were fucking with her. They had to be fucking with her. There's no other explanation, right? There had to be somebody behind the scenes being like, watch this. Watch this. I've seen how stupid this bitch is. Watch how she believes there's no golf carts and that everybody walks, right? Like, if you, I just can't. I just fucking can't. It is unreal, dude. It is an unreal situation, you know? It is just crazy. No, you walk, okay? You gotta run behind the carts. I'm surprised she's not tied. I'm surprised she's not fucking tethered to Donald Trump's cart there so she could never be, too far behind. All right, back to the letter, because it gets worse. It does get worse. It's fucking insane. All right, let's go here. So the second day, she was also told by, she doesn't remember who, that there was no carts left and that they didn't deserve a cart. And any other girls out there, another misogynistic example, right? How misogynistic can you be? All the fat-ass rich pricks, all the fat-ass white men that are going out there to play fucking shitty golf, they can get carts. But all the women, right? All the young, attractive women that apparently Donald Trump's got flourishing around. I mean, even the guy here was referencing it. He even says here, what do you say? Head out there and ask the other girls. Tell any other girls who would be out there, who's going to head out there to do the same and spare the course any more carts. So clearly, there's more girls out there. What the fuck do you need girls for while you're out in the golf course? Eye candy? I don't see why there's anything else you could do. They're not going to be your caddies. You get a cart. Your bag's on your cart, kid. I don't know what the fuck. You just need a bunch of random, young, beautiful women rolling around. Jeez, that's weird for Donald Trump and his friends, wouldn't you say? Or would you say that's fucking very fitting for what we know about Donald Trump and his fucking thug, disgusting sexual assault or rapist friends that he's got? But we'll continue. Because it gets better. It really does get better. So she forgot who told you, yada, yada. And it says here that if there's anything else I have done to cause you trouble, please forgive me. Like, I'm ready to throw up here. This is like, a breakup letter, or like, the letter you send after a breakup when you didn't want to be the one breaking up. Like, and you think it was all your fault and apologizing for all your mistakes. Like, this is what this is. Like, I don't know what happened. Did she get banished for a day? Like, what struck her nerve to be like, I have to write this letter of apology and be like as disgustingly sycophantic while I'm doing it as humanly possible? I don't know. That's why we're going over it. It says, if there's anything else I have done to cause you trouble, please forgive me. I know that some people have said I haven't been texting them back, and there have been there have been some international cell issues. John was having technical issues on the plane too, so asked me to help him out. I don't know who John is. John would be John. Who's in the administration with John? Not sure. She also goes on here, I want things to always be right between us. What? Excuse you? What? You always want things to be right between you? Like a thought in your head, okay. If you're working for somebody that high profile, you're like, okay, I want, you can think it in your dome piece, but I want, clearly want things to say okay here. But to write that in a letter, again, 35-year-old attractive blonde girl that's clearly got one purpose and one purpose alone, besides obviously printing out paper, like she's going to sit there and say, I want things to always be right between us. Like, that's fucking creepy shit to write to Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Like, the information's out there, Natalie. Hey, Natalie, knock, knock. Knock, knock. The fucking Epstein information's out there, bitch. Okay? You can go out there on the internet and freely look at Donald Trump's involvement in Jeffrey Epstein's entire fucking life and criminal career. Okay? So that's who you're writing to. I want you to know. And I just want you to know that every time he pictures you, every time he sees you, he plasters Ivanka's face over yours. Okay? Visually, mentally, and probably even physically at this point, he's got an Ivanka mask that covers your fucking face every time you're around. Okay? Because he's not thinking about you, Natalie. He's not thinking about you. He's thinking about his daughter. The daughter that he's wanted to fuck for generations now. That he said out loud, talking about her breasts, talking about how they have sex in common. Okay? Remember the escalator? Remember the lady on the escalator? He said he was going to be dating her daughter in a few years. I think the kid was probably fucking 6, maybe. This is all publicly known information, right? Jeffrey Epstein poaching young girls from the spa at Mar-a-Lago, right? Donald Trump told several times until after the public knowledge, after the knowledge, the information became public, he decided to call the fucking sheriff, the chief or whatever the fuck down there in Palm Beach or whatever the fuck, to be like, oh, good, you got him. Oh, thank God you caught the guy that I've been hanging out with for the last fucking 20 years, that I know all the crimes he's committed, but I never told anybody. I'm literally running a fucking spa that supplies the children that he utilizes for his sex parties, but thank God you caught him. And then, okay, what can we do now? Can we kick him out of the club? Let's pretend to kick him out of the club, like scrambling to make it seem like they had no connection to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, but Natalie, bitch. Okay, this is who you're writing to. I just want you to know. This is the disgusting, depraved psychopath that you're now fucking buddy with and, connected at the hip with and want to marry, apparently, is what I'm getting from this letter. But we go on. I want things always to be, I just like that sentence of fucking amazes me. Chat, what are you guys thinking here? What are we thinking? Stalker? What are we thinking? Just absolute mental degradation here from Natalie. So it goes on. I also know I've been distracted all week, forgetting to eat throughout the days and even forgetting to sleep. This is weird. Okay? This is fucking weird. This is cult behavior. Okay? Hal had Dr. Hassan on, right? Dr. Hassan on. And I would love to be able to have a conversation with him at some point about the cult mentality maybe even bring up this specific letter. You can kind of, tell us any points and pieces and pick that stuff out and tell us, yes, this is definitely, an example of the mental games, the mental warfare, the mental mindset it takes to be in a cult. So that would be something that I would like to have. But to say that you forgot to eat and sleep is just wild. Okay. I could go a couple hours and notice that I didn't have breakfast, but I'm not going the entire week forgetting to eat. Like, you got to eat, right? You get hungry, and then the sleep. Did you forget the shower too? You disgusting prick. Like, Jesus Christ. And it says, only catching a couple hours at a time. I haven't been myself, dwelling on the past and the pain of losing my dad. Okay. Understood. Pain, tough. Not going to say anything about that. That's her issue. How she deals with it is on her. Not going to go there. And I started letting remarks of people who haven't bothered me before get to me. Not because I care what others think, but because I see myself being lowered in your eyes and good opinion. So she doesn't give a flying fuck what people say, unless in Donald Trump's eyes, it takes her down a notch, right? She only cares about how this looks to Donald Trump. She doesn't even care what it looks like to herself. Right? She doesn't care what this does to herself, her image, what people are saying, unless she thinks it makes her lessened in the eyes of Donald Trump. How that's not stage 5 clinger, fucking stalker, cult-like behavior, I don't know. Okay? Let me know in the chat. Maybe there's somebody in the chat that has more knowledge and education on cults that could kind of give you guys in the chat some insight about yes or no, if I'm right or wrong. I think this is fucking weird. And again, I'll put it out there. I don't know, Daily Beast. I don't know if they, did they confirm this was 100%? I don't know if this was like 100%, but we'll leave it. We'll leave the option out there. But let me see what else it goes on. It says, this is the fear you see because I never want to bring you anything but joy. It's just crazy. I'm sorry I lost my focus. You are all that matters to me. I don't ever want to let you down. Thank you for being my guardian and protector in this life. Like, I don't even know at this point, Like, I feel like you have to have a couple degrees in order to dissect this shit. I don't, like, what do you even give that? I don't even know if I have a sound. I don't have a drop for that even. You know what I mean? I don't have nothing to say. I mean, I have shit to say, but I don't know. That's fucking weird behavior. This is absolutely disgustingly weird and psychopathic behavior here. So I can see why she fits in. Okay. And this is, again, slaps down Greg Kelly's argument where he brought up the, you're all that matters to me line. And he said, oh, you don't know the context. Could have been anything. Could have been anything. You're all that matters to me when we play chess or checkers. Like, he tried to say something stupid. Well, if you take out the entire context of this, which we will, she says, this is the fear you see, because I never want to bring you anything but joy. I'm sorry I lost my focus. You are all that matters to me. I don't ever want to let you down. Thank you for being my guardian and protector in this life. That's what I wanted to use this card for when you saw me at the cash register and once again did what you didn't have to do and gifted me with the mementos of this trip of a lifetime, a coming of age. I will return a better person. I have to sign off now as the cars are leaving. See you soon. With all my heart, Natalie. And again, you'll recognize that some of these words are capitalized out of order, right? So right here, technical issues on the plane is capitalized. Down here at the end, mementos, cash register capitalized, trip, lifetime capitalized, coming, age capitalized, guardian capitalized for some reason, right? So it's almost like you could tell what True Social posts are written by her mostly, concocted by her mostly, and what came from her fingers when you see shit like that, right? So obviously it tries to mimic, and it is what comes out of Donald Trump's mouth, right? And he has his own, grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes and doesn't know how to fucking do anything right, obviously. But I think this gives a little bit more insight, and you can kind of compare and contrast a little bit of the True Social post to this. And there's another one. That's not even it. There was another one. This is, Dear Mr. President. Now, this is the note I wanted to write, but the apology needed to come first, which is the first letter that we just wrote. I have learned so much about myself on this trip. And I don't know, this sounds like Donald Trump gave her a paid vacation, right? This sounds like on the last one, did you hear the end, the way that she ended it? She said, Thank you for being my guardian and protector, yada, yada. When you saw me at the cash register and once again did what you didn't have to do and gifted me with the mementos of this trip of a lifetime, a coming of age. So did Donald Trump literally pay out of pocket to give Natalie Harp this grand vacation? Right? That seems like what we're getting here. It seems like what she's saying as far as that's concerned, right? So obviously another bit of strange behavior going on. Donald Trump just randomly paying for 35-year-old blonde girls to go away for some reason. And it sounds like they wanted her to change, like they needed her to kind of like refocus or something. It's almost like a retreat. Like they sent her on a fucking retreat or something like that. It's just weird, again, cult-like shit here. So it says, I've learned so much about myself on this trip. And can I make this any bigger? I apologize, guys, if it's too small on your screen. I am trying to make it a little bigger, but for some reason the screen just doesn't want to cooperate with Twitter. So my apologies. Can I do it this way? No, I can't. Anyway, we'll read it. I'm reading it for you. Sorry, it keeps going back and forth. All right, so it says, I always knew coming home to my roots would be enlightening, but I had no idea how much. For the first time in I don't know how long, you forced me to, quote unquote, unplug. So clearly shows that he gave her directions, clearly shows that he was like instructing her how to go about with this retreat, like how to go about this like rehabilitation almost. Like, again, strange like stuff. So forcing me to unplug, I'm assuming don't pick up the phone, don't talk about social media, something like that, something along those lines. We could be out on the course with no machines and even forget what time it was. I didn't have to be the, quote, human printer, she calls herself. I could take time to enjoy good conversation and still get all my work done at the end of the day. In fact, I even had some time to take a long morning and even walks to enjoy each sunrise and sunset, though I did forget to eat and sleep. How? With so much thinking time, I confess it did have a slightly negative effect at times. That I know you picked up on. But the end result, I believe, it's almost like she stayed in contact with Donald Trump throughout the trip, right? So she's talking about how Donald Trump may have picked up on the, the negative impact and negative effects that may have come with this like extra time. That's what I'm getting out of this. So they were almost in constant communication, even throughout this like retreat, even throughout this like rehabilitation time they wanted her to go on. Right? It says, I have no idea how rapidly I was approaching burnout. Whose only job seems to be to talk afloat with all that's coming in for you. I look like a hunchback who didn't have time to freshen up. At least you know what I should look like. And again, in parentheses, that's like oddly sexual, right? If you think about it, like she's talking about how she looks like the hunchback in her eyes, but you know what I should look like. Is that with or without clothes, Natalie? Right? Does he have a good indication of what you look like with the dress on while the dress is on the floor next to you? Just curious. An answer I think that should be a question that should be answered, I think. And it says, plus, I miss the days when you used to call during my talk show days and would talk about everything and nothing. This is like a what does this feel? It feels like a middle school. It feels like a middle school relationship, right? It feels like you're in fucking 6th grade, 7th grade, and this is the like you're writing back and forth in class with notes, and this is what's going on. Right? I missed when you used to call me during my talk show days and we'd just talk about everything and nothing. Like wild, diabolical shit here. What did it say? I wish I could hear every conversation because that's when you're having a good time, getting away from it all, at least for a few moments. But after going through this self-analysis, my conclusion, I need to reunite my past self with my current into a better version and will make you proud. And please, when I fail, will you tell me, ? You have the absolute right to cuss me out if need be, when I deserve it, because no one knows or cares about me more. Fuck Christ almighty. Unreal shit we're looking at here, guys. Unreal shit. Let's see. I'll never forget when you made that promise to me after losing my dad, and I know how happy he is right now that I did get to go to Scotland and Ireland as he always wanted for me. To modify a classic, I could, quote, I could not have parted with you to anyone less worthy, end quote. And I will add, it is I who is unworthy. Always, Natalie. P.S. My hands look worse in Scotland and Ireland because the cold turns the old scars purple. Still on the road to recovery, ! Just some of the absolute weirdest shit I have ever fucking read in my entire life. Just the weirdest situation, the weirdest relationship that I have ever seen. And believe me, I have seen some doozies. I have seen some oopsie poopsies as far as relationships are concerned. I can assure you, I've been in some of them. Been in some of them. But fucking A, if I've ever seen anything as just sycophantic and cult-like as this. I apologize for continuing to use those words, but the words fit so perfectly in this situation. Like, that is robot shit. Okay, that is laser focused. Nobody else matters. I will literally walk off the fucking cliff if Donald Trump told me to, type of shit. And you know, I just had to cover it with you guys. Had to get that out there. We've talked about Natalie obviously over the last couple days, where, you know, John Ossoff like briefly mentioned her in a fucking speech, and the next thing you know, the right-wing propaganda arm like lit up like a firework display on the 4th of July trying to defend her, which is basically only, you know, Barbara Streisand, the whole fucking thing. So now more people are talking about her, more people are digging up old footage and digging up letters and shit. So backfire, talk about a fucking backfire on that one. We got a trolley? Do we have trolleys in here? Let's go. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Get it out. Get it out. Everybody in the chat, answer, get them with questions. Get them with questions. First one would be, why do you support a pedophile? Why do you support somebody that was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 25 years, right? Why do you support somebody that's named and listed in the Epstein files more than Jesus Christ is named in the Bible, to a point where we should literally call them the Trump files with maybe a side mention of Jeffrey Epstein? Ask them why, you know, they're you know, fighting for the degradation and the destruction of our economy and the partnerships we have with allies all over the world right now. Ask why we've, you know, gotten to this destructive war, why we've gotten into this war that's, you know, responsible for killing 18 U.S. servicemen and women, why we've hurt and injured probably about 1,000 or more, sometimes severely injured by these missile attacks by Iran, for nothing in return, for absolutely no benefit. And also, not only no benefit, but we've actually seen degradation. We've actually seen demise as far as economy, as far as like what people are paying and how much the dollar is going, as far as that's concerned. So that's how I do like deal with those trolls. You don't have to be mean. Let's not be crazy, right? Let them hang. We like the interaction as far as the algorithm. So that's how I'd beat the troll. Just berate him with questions, okay? Let him see if he can answer them. I doubt they can, but I do appreciate them stopping by and trying to, you know, boost the old algorithm for the show. So thank you, chat. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Tiff, for letting me know. Much appreciated. All right, so next thing we're going to be talking about. Let's get into this whole Michael Cohen shit, okay? Boy, oh boy, if I've ever seen a scumbag piece of shit cuck careerist pig in my life, is it Michael fucking Cohen. Okay, so he's been on a little bit, not even a little bit. He's been full-fledged trying to get back into the dick, trying to get back into the pocket of Donald Trump for, I'd say, I'm not sure when this exactly started, but it's kicked into high gear. So he's completely flipped the script from his, you know, Midas touch, fucking beat down, breakdown, whatever the fucking show was, where he probably made buku dollars, was happy to shit on Donald Trump while all the fucking time wanting to get back in the inner circle of the pedophile himself. So this disgraceful piece of shit who should be not allowed to show his face in public without absolute fucking shame. Tomatoes should be flying. This piece of shit should be called out every single time he shows his face in public on social media, no matter where the fuck he is, because he's a phony, a fake, a fraudster, a con man, a degenerate, a liar, a criminal, everything. All of those things Michael Cohen is, and we're going to prove it here today. Okay, we're going to go over the conversation, but before we do, let's just take a little bit of a trip down memory lane, if you will, okay, to when Michael Cohen was testifying in front of Congress, right? Now, under oath, had to tell the truth, apparently, where he was there. I believe he was under oath, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just take a look real quick at a couple clips of Michael Cohen in the past trying to placate the left and lie to, you know, inevitably get himself either out of trouble or into riches, right? Which is all he does. Follow the money, follow the opportunity, right? He wants a pardon from Donald Trump to expunge all the fucking crimes he committed, Now, the only way he can get it to undress Donald Trump, to unzip his pants, and to stick his little mushroom pecker right in his goddamn mouth, which is what he did on his little fucking radio show with him, which we'll go over in just a second. But again, here's a minute and 15 seconds of Michael Cohen talking about Donald Trump in Congress. So, and then we'll compare and contrast, how the conversation went with Boss. Okay, Boss, he calls him now. He's back to being Boss. That motherfucking weasel. This absolute weasel, degenerate, greasy piece of shit. Oh, okay, let's roll.
Never in a million years did I imagine, when I accepted a job in 2007 to work for Donald Trump, that he would one day run for the presidency, to launch a campaign on a platform of hate and intolerance, and actively win. I regret the day I said yes to Mr. Trump. I regret all the help and support I gave him along the way. I am ashamed of my own failings and publicly accepted responsibility for them by pleading guilty in the Southern District of New York. I am ashamed of my weakness and my misplaced loyalty.
Oh, please, you couldn't have said it any better. You're a weak, pathetic piece of shit, a soulless hack of a human being, okay? So stick it up your fucking ass.
Of the things I did for Mr. Trump in an effort to protect and promote him. I am ashamed that I chose to take part in concealing Mr. Trump's illicit acts rather than listening to my own conscience. I am ashamed because I know what Mr. Trump is.
What is he? Tell us.
He is a racist.
Okay.
He is a con man.
Okay.
And he is a cheat.
Okay. Now, I don't know how do you go from that? How do you go from that to Boss again? Hey, Boss, as he's calling him, as you'll see in this fucking disgusting display from this fucking soulless piece of shit. Unfucking believable. So that's, again, Michael Cohen in front of Congress expressing his feelings or his acting ability, apparently, in front of Congress and talking about how Donald Trump's a racist, a fraud, a con man. But that's okay, apparently, now. That's okay. He's a great guy. We have a long-lasting relationship. I've called and intimidated countless journalists, probably countless lawyers that were looking to sue Donald Trump or to, again, uncover some of his criminalities. And then fucking, Michael Cohen, the little attack dog that he is, went over there and had to intimidate them and make the phone calls and leave the messages. And, he was out there trying to be a fucking, a white-collar hitman, if you will, for lack of a better term. But weaseled his way into the fucking left. Gotta say, weaseled his fucking way in, knew that he had a spot if he was talking shit about Donald Trump, right? And then eventually he got that bright spot with Midas touch, and not to say that you shouldn't use what he was trying to say for our political benefit, but there was a willingness or a need, let's just say a need to keep this piece of shit at arm's length, okay? That's just what I'm going to say. I think it was pretty clear from his history what he's been involved in, the people that he's been fucking affiliated and associated with and the shit that he's fucking been responsible for, that not a good guy. Not a fucking good guy whatsoever, okay? But if you have inside information, which is what was going on, right? Utilizing his knowledge of how the inner workings were for the Trump administration or just, the Trump business and shit like that. So clearly there was benefit, okay? There was information that we could gain, but that doesn't mean you got to give this guy the fucking spotlight, okay? You don't got to give this guy the soapbox all of a sudden to have him go out there and try to fucking, make himself out to be the next fucking Führer and, make it seem like he's the all-knowing power out there and everybody should listen to this fucking hack, okay? There's things that you could have utilized. There's information that we could have done and obviously taken for our political benefit. But obviously, he weaseled his way to the top. He probably made fucking millions of dollars, I'm sure, throughout his time making videos with Midas Touch and the rest of his fucking appearances that he was on. So he hit the gold mine. He was all set. He needed the money. He got the money. He said the things that were necessary in order to keep himself on there. Now, when he sees this opportunity here, right? When he finally gets fed up with lying to fucking everybody about what his political beliefs are and who he actually likes, what he wants to do is be within the proximity of power. He's the male Natalie Hopp. He is the fucking male Natalie Hopp. That's all he wants to do. He'd fucking unzip Trump's pants. Natalie Hopp will hang on to one ass cheek, and fucking Michael Cohen will hang on to the other. Same fucking people, different skin. Same fucking people, different accent. That's all this is. Okay? That's what he wants to do. And he's been fucking lying to himself for fucking years over here on the left, trying to fucking tell everybody that he's an ally, trying to tell everybody he's one of us, and he can see the inner workings and know how bad and racist and bigoted and fucking, fraudulent Donald Trump is. But now, as long as he can fucking, as long as he can suck hard enough, maybe he can get that pardon. Okay? Maybe if he fucking exercises his jaw enough on Donald Trump's fucking lower half, then maybe he can get that fucking pardon to expunge all the bullshit, or, whatever portion of the bullshit that he's looking to fucking expunge there, so he can ultimately get his lawyer license back and start practicing again, I'm sure is the ultimate goal there. But, let's go into a little bit of this as well in what he said here. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Got to share it on the screen to you guys. Here we go. This one.
Particularly among the president's political base, that they already kind of know this about him.
Joshua, he's got a certain base that it truly does not matter what he does, which is why he stated that he can kill somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. Yes, and these people, for whatever their crazy belief system is, and I was part of that Donald Trump cult, for whatever reason, it's acceptable, but it's absolutely not. And I believe that he will lose the independent voter as a...
You can take the man out of the cult, guys. You can take the man out of the cult, but you can't take the cult out of the man, okay? Once you're in the cult, you're always in the cult, okay? Unless you do some serious rehabilitation, unless you see some fucking flash of light or there's some extenuating circumstances, then guess what? It's always going to be in there, which is why, again, I'd love to have a conversation with Dr. Hassan, about these specific things. I feel like that would be very enlightening and good to have, and I'll see if I can reach out to him and set up something where we can have a chat too. So, it was very interesting what he was saying on with Hal. Enjoyed that. So if we could, bring his insight and his knowledge over here to Blunt Politics for an interview, that would be fantastic. But again, you can take the man out of the cult, but you can't take the cult out of the man. He was always that person. He's always that scumbag. He was always that fucking attack dog for Donald Trump. And he knows the proximity of power. He knows if he can get back in the inner circle, then he's going to be flying on private jets. He's going to be attending the lavish fucking, the celebrations. He's going to be doing all this shit. He's going to eventually get his pardon if he wants. He's a fucking careerist pig. If you've ever watched a World War II movie, if you've ever watched Downfall, anybody? Downfall, one of the best World War II movies describing and depicting Hitler's last days in the bunker. I think it's about the last 10 days or so that Hitler spent in the bunker with the people surrounding him. Well, if you remember Fegelein was Eva Braun's brother-in-law, married to Eva Braun's sister, who ultimately deserted at the end of World War II. Hitler had him assassinated, but he, in that movie, as you can see, is calling people careerist pigs, and he's absolutely fucking right. Michael Cohen and Natalie Hopp and the rest of these scumbags that are hanging on the coattails of Donald Trump because they're on for the ride, because they're either making billions of dollars, it's fucking beneficial for their company, they can get out of the crimes that they committed, whatever the reason may be, same fucking thing. Opportunist, careerist pigs. Every single fucking one of them. And he's no fucking different. So he's talking about the cult here like he's not in it. But guess what? The motherfucker's in it. So let's go into a little bit. Is this the actual... Oh, no, there's one more. We got one more. We got one more of these to get through. The blast from the past of Michael Cohen, obviously lying through his teeth, just real quick. And then we'll get into the actual conversation that he had with Donald Trump. And you can see the fucking sycophancy. You can see the boot-licking piece of shit Michael Cohen try to weasel his way back into the inner circle of Donald fucking Trump. But first, one more look at, the things that he was saying to try to, again, rape, pillage, and plunder the left for every dollar he possibly could to stay alive. Now he's done with that. He's obviously made enough money, through the political beatdown and whatever other fucking shows that he was on. And now he's, been afforded the opportunity to go sit with Donald Trump. But here's one more look at this scumbag piece of shit, what he was saying before he was licking the taint sack of Donald Trump.
We're back with Michael Cohen. Michael, I want to ask you about the defense's case, if we call it that. When they put Costello on the stand, it seemed insane because it felt like the part of your direct testimony that implicated Trump the most was the part about Costello. And then they put him up, which allowed the state to go back on cross and ask him, like the last thing the jury heard was about how Trump's sort of mobbed up cutout was trying to pull you into the fold through Rudy. What did you, just as a lawyer, what did you think of that?
So my road with Costello has been one that is fraught with all sorts of crazy controversy and back and forth attacks on one another. Bob Costello is a dirtbag. Say nothing less than that. The fact is, what I realized early on is that he was playing me through Rudy. And I realized early on that what he was looking to do is to...
And everything was fucking me with this cocksucker, right? Everything was me, the DOJ and the fucking mistreatment and the unconstitutional remand this, unconstitutional remand this, buy my book that, fuck this piece of shit cuntbag loser. Fuck this guy. You know what I mean? Absolutely fuck this guy to the fucking high heavens. Another person, another prick added to the list of people I wish I could be locked in an elevator with for at least 5 fucking minutes. Okay, so I don't even care. I'm not going to show the rest of this because it's pissing me off. We'll go into this because boy, oh boy, is this fucking disgusting to see. Probably not surprising for anybody that saw this coming, but you know, to see this level of you know, degradation, to see this level of just shameless fucking behavior from some scumbag, loser, degenerate like Michael Cohen is, you know, again, something that we have to cover. So, excuse me. This is his interview. This is his conversation. Again, the one he's been waiting for. You can't see it because it's under the desk, but right now, Michael Cohen has a fucking skin-ripping boner that he's talking to Donald Trump. That's why the desk is hiding it. But let's see. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into it and see what bullshittery and how sick we can make everybody with this sycophancy from fucking Michael Cohen. Check this bullshit out right here. Please hit that like button. The algorithm and the YouTube gods don't typically like these independent channels that don't run ads during their streams. I happen to be one of those. So if you could, you know, financially contribute to this program, either through Venmo, signing up for a YouTube membership, checking out the Patreon, 3 great tiers over there on the Patreon at patreon.com/Boston Brian. You can go to the merch site, Blunt Politics at my Shopify. You can also check out bostonbrian.com or obviously the super chats and the super stickers. So we don't have any outside sources, financial backers. We don't have any dark money fucking agencies helping us out. Obviously, we're doing this with us, for us, and by us without any really help from anybody else. Glad and very honored to have people around like Jesse Dollamore and others, Preston Stewart, Jake Bro, other big creators that are willing to lend their time to smaller creators. But it's you here in the chat that ultimately keep this going. It's you guys in the chat that ultimately see some benefit, you know, find some information, find a laugh or two, or just enjoy the community there in the chat that keep us rolling. So if you could hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, those 3 things really do a great deal at helping show the algorithm that you're engaged, you like this program, and that it should be sent out to other people. So, all right, now that I have said that, I'm probably going to make it so that this is not going to be shown out to everybody with the anger that I now show and the words that I now say with this interview. But without further ado, Donald Trump and Michael Cohen in their famous get-together, their famous reunion here. Let's see how fucking disgusting this is, guys.
So I want to go back to 2016 if we can, because you and I have obviously traveled a pretty rocky road together. You remember, do you remember, sir, when I went on
already giggling like a little fucking schoolgirl, giggling like he couldn't be any fucking happier. This guy, it's like he's meeting his idol, right? Like he just got to meet backstage his favorite fucking rock star. Like he just got to meet anybody. It's just, look at the look on his face, and you can tell that this guy admires. This guy wants to be close to. This guy has an affinity for Donald Trump. He has this lasting connection somehow that he never let go, that he wants to be near this guy that knows how to fraud people out of money, that knows how to con people, that knows how to project himself as being this rich person, even though he's the fucking poorest person. He has no soul. He has nothing. He is just not a normal human being, but he tries to replace that with money. He tries to replace that with power. And Michael Cohen wants to be near that. He's sad that he's no longer able to travel around in the really fucking nice vehicles, in the private jets, and stay in the nice suites and go to all these different countries for the different meetings, right? It fucking lures people in. Natalie Hopp, right? She just talked about it in her letter. Thank you for giving me this fucking grand trip. You know, thank you for sending me to this beautiful place. Like that's what happens, and it draws people in no matter what, even if they were Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. And there's been a lot of questions raised. A lot of questions raised about Michael Cohen's involvement in what was going on during the times that Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and that whole situation was going on. Funny, never really brought up by Michael Cohen too much that I can remember during any of the programs that he had while he was making his fucking fake ploy, his fake act over here on the left. But we go on. This schoolgirl, like he just saw his boyfriend for the first time at the school dance in 7th grade here.
CNN with Brianna Keeler, and she told me that you were underwater in the polls, and I responded with those famous 2 words, "says who," which became some worldwide meme.
And good advocate, and then they weaponized.
Again, just right off the bat, just to dissect this even further beyond just the fact that it's happening, but dissecting this even further, this selfish prick, right? This absolute self-centered, selfish fucking prick does nothing but talk about himself. Remember that time that somebody said this to me and I said that and it was a meme? Oh, remember how funny that was? Like, just shut the fuck up, cunt.
You, like nobody's ever been weaponized, like few have been.
Well, maybe just you and I, sir.
And
but
you
again, Trump's talking about himself. Michael Cohen's got to interject with himself. Okay, the DOJ weaponized against you. Oh, sir, it was weaponized against me too. That's why we should be together. That's why we should never split up as boyfriend and boyfriend. You know, what are we doing? Let's get back together, boss, as you'll hear him call him, which is.
Yeah, me too, but I don't consider mine, mine was at a level that nobody's ever seen before. But they weaponized you, they weaponized a lot of people. And I respect the fact that you recanted everything you said. And that's a big thing that you did. You recanted, they weaponized.
I gotta say one thing.
Mine was at a
I gotta say one thing. And I don't know if this is kosher. I don't know if this is PC, probably not, but I would pay fucking big money. I would. I don't have money to spend, but if I had it, I would pay big fucking money to go back in time and slap the shit out of that fucking shit-eating grin. Okay? I would fucking smack that shit-eating grin so far off his fucking face, he'd have to do some plastic surgery after to be able to speak again in this interview. Okay? So, I had to get that out there. Sorry, not sorry, really, at all, whatsoever. But boy, oh boy, does that fucking shit-eating grin piss me the fuck off. And I don't know if that's a Boston thing, right? I don't know if that's just, the way I was brought up, the people that I hung out with and the environment that I was brought up in here. But yeah, wouldn't last long. I can tell you that fucking shit-eating grin wouldn't last long. Okay, now we go on.
Level that nobody's ever seen before. But they weaponized you, they weaponized a lot of people. And I respect the fact that you recanted everything you said. And that's a big thing that you did. That's a very big thing.
Sir, you may remember that following morning.
I'm sorry. What did he say? What did he call him? What was that? What'd you call him? It wasn't boss, but what did he call him? I think it was a sir, right? So you know how Donald Trump always with the fucking stories where he starts off with, oh, they came to me and they said, sir. They said, sir. And we're like, nobody fucking does. Nobody. I guess Michael Cohen does. Michael Cohen's the sir. Huh? We found him. We found the one fucking person that Donald Trump actually was telling the truth with all of these fucking stories that he told, with multiple people coming up and saying, sir. Nope, wasn't anybody else. It was this scumbag. It was this absolute degenerate scumbag, Michael Cohen. Sir, listen.
The fact that you recanted everything you said, and that's a big thing that you did. That's a very big thing.
Sir, you may remember.
Sir, you may be. Fuck you. He's a fucking convicted rapist, okay? He's an adjudicated rapist. He raped E. Jean Carroll. He then went on to defame E. Jean Carroll. He's then listed in the Epstein files more than Jeffrey fucking Epstein himself. The guy that said he could grab women by the fucking pussy because he's a star and they let you do it. The guy that said he wants to bang his own daughter. Okay, this is who you're sitting down and talking to. All of the things that you've brought up over the years with Midas touch and political breakdown or beatdown or whatever the fuck, right? All the things that you've said and brought up about his history, his past, the inner workings, how he treats people, right? And we're back to this. We're back to this. You're fucking shitting me. You are fucking shit. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of people not surprised. And Tim, I got to say, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. But it is fucking pissing me off, okay? I got to tell you that. I'm not going to go from, okay, I saw this coming, I knew this was a possibility, to no anger whatsoever, no frustration at the time spent, the money that you guys sent into this fucking pricks program, right? How many in the chat? How many in the chat sent in a super chat to Political Beatdown, okay? Or whatever shows he was doing? How many people spent their hard-earned money to boost this guy's fucking image, to boost this guy's profile, right? To boost his bank account? Meanwhile, maybe I'm biased, but people like me are sitting here on the fucking bottom of the pile, just trying to fucking keep our head above water to put fucking food in my stomach. And I'm the one that's passionate about these things. I'm the one that's speaking the truth. I'm the one that's not going to fucking flip sides. I'm the one that's going to fucking be part of the opposition and the resistance till we fucking die or win, right? But I can't get subscribers. YouTube won't send my shit out. But this motherfucker will get all the fucking praise. We'll get all the super chats, right? He gets all the opportunity in the spotlight. But no programs, no content creators, right? No other accounts want to help, creators like me. Anybody else that's doing this, don't come on my show. Don't boost my program. Don't talk about my podcast. Make sure this fucking dick licker, make sure this fucking cocksucker gets the super chats. Make sure he gets the fucking spotlight in the headlines so you can utilize his fucking power and position to boost your own profile. Huh? Don't send some help my way. Don't send some help to small creators who are trying to boost the democratic way of life, these progressive fucking policies to change and make this world a better place. Don't come over here. Make sure these fucking bastards get all the spotlight in the headlines. Make sure you connect yourself at the hip with these motherfuckers. Right? That's what we do. The people that can make you the most money, the people with the most headlines. Maybe we could get high-profile Washington, D.C. reporters or fucking CNN reporters to turn ourselves into a conglomerate, right? Maybe that's what we got to do. Don't help out small creators, right? Don't come out on the programs and boost their fucking content and help them out when they go to fucking Ukraine, right? Don't talk about their experiences, what they do, literally putting their fucking selves in harm's way to bring fucking aid and equipment to a military where our government won't fucking stand up and do it themselves. Don't do any of that shit. Make sure you sit on your fucking throne. Make sure you sit on your fucking pile of money and giving people fucking headlines like this, giving people spotlights like this fucking prick ass bitch.
Remember that following morning, you called me into the office after, and then you gave me one of those traditional Trump slaps on the shoulder, and you said to me,
did he fucking stick it up your ass too? Because he shoulda. The pat on the back. Look at this fucking loser. Look at how happy and joyful and excited he is to talk about the time that Donald Trump touched his backside. Fuck you. How about that?
F them. You're stronger than them. We've got this. Now, the funny thing is that CNN never apologized. They never retracted anything. And now, years later, CNN, MS Now, and the other left-leaning outlets, they're doing the exact same thing.
Wow. Even picking up the fucking rhetoric. Even picking up the fucking talking points. The left-leaning. Where the fuck is there a left-leaning media? Can somebody point out to me where the fuck is the left-leaning media? Because it sure as fuck isn't CNN, okay? It sure as fuck isn't MSNBC. Sure as fuck isn't RSBN or Fox News. Where the fuck are these programs and these stations being owned by left-leaning people? Somebody show me that, please. Please show me where these fucking left-leaning progressive fucking programs are on. Okay, and being boosted by the mainstream media, because I don't see shit. I see people like me and other people working their fucking asses off to make sure that we bring you the news and the facts and the real fucking story. But meanwhile, we got dickheads and morons and fucking maggots on like fucking Scott Jennings, probably your next White House spokesperson, taking over for KKK Caroline. Hold on, every time we say her name, we gotta play her. Caroline, she's the reason for the word bitch. Right, so you got to play it every time you say Caroline's, but who's going to help the small people out here that are really busting their ass, that literally gave up a fucking plumbing career so that we could come and bring you guys the insights, the news, and work our ass off to go through the political problems and situations to figure out our fucking answers, right? To build a more progressive, to build a better society where people have better access to healthcare. It's easier to buy a fucking home. It's easier to raise a family, right? You are safer. You live longer. The food doesn't fucking kill you. You know what I mean? Is that so bad? Is that a bad thing that we want here? Like, who doesn't want to boost up programs like that? I don't know. There's a lot of them out there, as you think. The people that you think that are on your side. You think the people that are doing the right thing, but ultimately don't do fucking dick.
constantly talking about you being.
I'm playing it in the background. I'm on one. I'm on one. Woosah. Let me get a woosah. Swear job's got to be full today, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. But I just want to make it to the point where he calls him boss, and then I'm done, okay? I want to hear the boss. I want to hear that sick fucking shit, and then I'm out of here, and we'll go over some of the coverage from Russia, and I'll get you guys out of here. For damn sure I'm going over today. My apologies if I'm stepping on anybody's toes, but fuck them.
Underwater with favorability numbers. Mr. President, what do you say to these people who keep bringing up polls when you're not even running for office again? What's the point?
I'm not, and I think that we're doing.
The point is he's the fucking representative and leader of the Republican fucking party, you stupid prick. What do you think we're talking about? Right? Not only that, but hey, let's add into the conversation that he's fucking, thrown it into the zeitgeist that he wants to run again with the Trump 2028 hats. I know he talks about the laws being very clear. He said that also, but hey, who's going to fucking trust anything coming out of that orange crusted fucking, orangutan asshole looking mouth of Donald Trump's? I don't. I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to buy it. But the polls show a consistent fucking degrading, a consistent fall and decline of Donald Trump's favorability, of Donald Trump's, support that he has with independents, with the GOP, with fucking progressives, with liberals, right? All of the polls that we've shown so far in this podcast over the weeks, right, have said the same thing. That fucking Donald Trump is on the slide, baby. That even MAGA has picked up his fucking bullshit, right? They've picked up on the lies. That things aren't cheaper. Wars aren't ending. I can assure you that shit. Economy isn't booming, but don't worry. Donald Trump's sitting on a fucking gold throne. Don't worry. The White House is fucking, you'd have to wear sunglasses to go into the fucking Oval Office. There's so much gaudy gold in there, right? Don't worry about that. We got gold horses. In Washington, D.C., we're going to have a gold arch all set. We had to have a bluer reflecting pool. That's all set. We're spending billions of fucking dollars probably on a ballroom. Meanwhile, it's this whole military installation that nobody fucking really knows what the hell is going on. Right? All that going on. And you can see the polling of people noticing that while they're fucking struggling, right? While they're eating, maybe 2 meals a week because they can't afford to put food on the table every night because they have to pay for their child's health care, or they have to pay for their child's babysitting, or they have to make it to fucking work and the gas that they're paying for is killing them right now, right? Whatever it may be, your mortgage, your rent that never stops coming, your electric bill that never stops coming, your phone bill that never stops fucking coming. And people are noticing. Because people live. You got to live your daily life. You can only live in fucking, disillusion for so long. You can only live in fantasy land for so long before you got to go to the fucking grocery store, before you got to go to the gas station and actually put some gas in your car and recognize, holy shit, I don't have enough money to fucking do that. Okay? So the polls show what this guy's leadership is representing. The polls show what the Republicans are supportive of. The polls show the absolute fucking weakness and the pathetic hacks that are now in the fucking Republican leadership that don't have the balls, don't have the fucking soul and the gall to stand up to Donald Trump and say that what you're doing is absolutely fucking ridiculous. You're degrading our economy. You're degrading our fucking relationships with our allies. We're getting absolutely no benefit. People are starving on the fucking streets. Veterans can't get fucking help. And you're over here in your golden fucking palace. Okay? So that's what the polls show, dickhead.
Really well in the polls, the real polls. If I were running today, I think I'd win by 25 points.
No, you wouldn't. We've never seen fucking polls lower. Again, he's lower in the fucking polls right now. He's more hated than after January 6th. Let that sink in. He has lower numbers than after. He literally sent his crew, his cult, with weapons and bear spray and shit onto the Capitol to break into the Capitol to stop a counting of a free and fair fucking election. Ended in the result of death on both sides, right? And this motherfucker after that is less popular now than he was then. Let that fucking sink in. Something we all watched live on TV with our own eyeballs the entire day. Something that this fucking weak, pathetic hack didn't have the balls to stop, didn't want to stop for hours on that day, right? And he is less popular now than he was after that. That's fucking crazy, okay? So, again, like I said, I don't... What a show today, baby. I'm liking it. Let's go. I'm fucking fired up.
I think we'd win by a lot. The economy has never been stronger. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever seen
Lies.
before. You take a look at what's going on with Venezuela. It was a one-day deal. It was actually a 48-minute deal where it was an attack where we took a truly bad person out of the country, including
Hold on, I'm going to let that go. I might have to pull this
out of the country and now standing trial. This was a very evil man. And the country, we are involved very much with the country, taking out millions and millions of barrels of oil. And that goes right into our treasury. We've done, the Venezuela was amazing. And now with Iran, they will never have a nuclear weapon. We're essentially controlling, and soon controlling the Straits. We're doing very well with Iran. The press doesn't like to say that, although a lot of the press does say it, because the Navy's done.
I'll stop this real quick. I'm not going to go into any more of that, but I just want to play that quick clip of him calling him, Cohen calling him boss. And then again, we'll move on to the to the Ukraine coverage. But this is the moment here where he says the thing that I was waiting for, but I won't expose you to any more of that conversation. I think I've vented enough on that one for this show, at least. I'm sure I'll have more to say on the subject, but here we go with the moment that is probably the most disgusting out of this whole thing, based, other than just the fact that he's doing it. But check this out.
Like it.
So maybe what we should do is then have a press conference and literally put out all of the accomplishments, because what's happening, boss, you remember when I was by your side, I literally used to analyze the polls, right? And you remember how much attention that I used to pay?
So, when I say this is Natalie Hopp in male form, that's what I mean. Okay, how is that any different than the letter Natalie Hopp wrote? I want to be by your side. I never want to disappoint you, or you're my everything. Remember when I was boss? Remember when I was by your side and we were side by side and you were touching my hips? Like, this is just some of the grossest shit. It really is. Like, I am just. I see you guys in the chat, though. I know you're right there with me. But yeah, the whole boss thing, right? Listen to this one more time, just to kind of really drill home his fucking disgustingness.
There's never been, it's a renaissance. There's never been anything like it.
So maybe what we should do is then have a press conference and literally put out all of the accomplishments, because what's happening, boss.
Boss, hey boss, I got an idea, boss. Why don't we do some PR, boss? That's literally what he's doing. He wants to he's doing PR. He's doing what Steve Bannon did to Jeffrey Epstein. Remember, he was doing the whole PR campaign to rehabilitate Jeffrey Epstein's image. This is what Michael Cohen wants to do. He wants to rehabilitate a pedophile's image. He wants to go out there and list what fucking accomplishments are you going to list, dickbag, right? Walking side by side, boss, you fucking pig. You're an absolute pig. You're a loser. You're a degenerate. You're a hack. You're a soulless piece of shit that nobody should love. You should never see another moment's fucking peace for the rest of your life. You should be harassed till the fucking dying day you have, okay? You're an absolute disgusting piece of shit, waste of life, okay? That's what you are, Michael Cohen. And I hope somebody fucking sends this to him and ats him with this whole fucking segment. Please do. Because you're an absolute fucking cunt. Okay? That's what you are. Degenerate. Okay? You're a waste of fucking space. An absolute waste of space. And I can't believe that people in this chat and in other chats spent their fucking hard-earned dollars sending it to your disgusting soul. That's what I fucking think of you. Okay? Rot in hell. Rot in fucking hell. All right, let's jump into. I'm telling you, I can keep going. If you want, but I see the numbers have dropped a little bit, so maybe I'll back it down. Okay, let's get into a little of the coverage from Russia. And again, this embarrassing fact that just literally 24 hours after Donald Trump is praising Kim Jong-un, we're seeing again headlines like this after we had already seen North Korean missiles literally kill Ukrainian civilians, where we watched the grandmothers literally walk around the rubble looking for their fucking grandchildren and the civilians that were killed in that attack. This is from CNN, and it says, Russia to get 50,000 troops from North Korea. North Korea sending troops to Russia to continue the war against the fight against our ally, to kill our allies. And what does Donald Trump say? Donald Trump says, don't worry. He's fucking great. He's been respectful. He's been absolutely respectful, and he's been well-behaved, I think is the word that he used. Well-fucking-behaved has Kim Jong-un been, says the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States of America, saying that he's been well-behaved, and we're looking at headlines like this, okay? We're looking at fucking headlines like this of North Korea literally sending manpower, literally sending boots on the fucking ground against our ally, okay? Like, the embarrassment, the shame that I feel when I see shit like this after hearing our president literally praising a murderous dictatorial leader is beyond words at some point. But I just want to show you that this is the real deal. This is absolutely happening. This isn't talking points that I use. This isn't shit just to throw at Donald Trump. This isn't, just, some other thing to say. This is reality, okay? This is fucking real. This is happening. It's happened before. This isn't the first time, but it's continuing. But Donald Trump putting zero pressure, actually the opposite of putting zero pressure on Kim Jong-un. He actually sent him a fucking favor, sent him a gift-wrapped fucking bow-tied favor with limiting the exercises, limiting the participation of the United States in those joint military exercises with South Korea. Just a fucking, an absolute gift with the biggest bow you could possibly imagine. But here we go with North Korea sending even more troops to Russia to engage in the fight to kill, ultimately, in hopes, Ukrainians, whether military or civilian. So hit that like button. My name's Boston Brian. Thank you so much for joining me. If it's your first time, thank you for taking the time out of your day. I really do appreciate it. If you could make it worthwhile and hit those 3 free buttons for me, the like, share, and the bell, the notification bell, that would be fantastic. And again, there's other ways to contribute all over the place. YouTube memberships just underneath me here. Patreon.com/Boston Brian, and also the Venmo up in the corner is the quickest and easiest way, I believe, to get your support, your $1 or $2 to an independent creator like myself. All right, let's dive into it. Slava Ukraine, Heroyam Slava. Thank you guys to everybody that is very supportive and everybody that sticks around to the end. And is engaged and active in all of these different situations. I admire and respect the shit out of you guys down there. So, all right, let's jump into it. Much appreciated, guys.
We begin with what Ukraine says is a new threat to its people as it endures yet another wave of Russian attacks. A senior Ukrainian official says Vladimir Putin may ask North Korea's Kim Jong-un for up to 50,000 more troops to boost the Russia war effort. Well, that's on top of the 8,500 already in Russia. The official says the current North Korean contingent includes a drone unit that could play a role in attacks inside Ukraine. Nick Payne-Walsh is back with us this hour.
Okay, but well-behaved, guys. Well-behaved. Hold on. I can probably even show you. Let's go on. Let's go so I can be, I'll be very thorough in this. I'll be very thorough in this because we'll pull up side by side what Kim Jong-un is doing. Trump. See if this pulls it up. Kim Jong-un, well-behaved. Maybe that'll do it. Maybe that'll do it. I don't want his speeches. No, I want the Truth Social post if I can find it real quick. Maybe I'll put Truth Social. Truth Social. Come on, somebody must have posted it. Here we go. So, all right, let's just.
I am not happy with the fact that the United States has, long ago, agreed to participate in joint military exercises with South Korea. These exercises are not only costly, with much of these costs paid for by the United States of America, as usual,
I don't even know if you guys can hear that.
A signal that is totally inappropriate and hostile to a country that, as long as Donald J. Trump has been president, has been unthreatening and respectful. Therefore, and based on the fact that it is too late to cancel, I have instructed Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to substantially reduce the joint military exercises.
What is happening?
While somewhat unrelated, I recently asked the president of South Korea if they would like to join us in the denuclearization of the Islamic Republic of
All right, it was this fucking
Iran,
thing.
and
Why
they
is that
said,
playing?
no thanks.
Oh, it's a video. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Oh my God. It was a video the whole time, and I'm like, apparently it's an AI reading of it, and I'm like, listening to my ear. I'm like, what the fuck is talking? I don't know what that was. All right, so back to fucking earth on this one. But all right, so we're talking about 50,000 troops on top of the 8,500 that are already there fighting against this war. Probably a lot less than 8,500 at this point in time. I'm sure there's probably about 2 or 3 left, maybe. But still, the weapons have been sent. So whether they're thinking about sending troops or not is irrelevant. Already have sent troops, already have put boots on the ground. Definitely have sent weapons. Definitely have sent missiles to help Russia kill Ukrainians. Already been used. So listen to what Donald Trump says here, okay? Based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, I am not happy with the fact that the United States has long ago agreed to participate in joint military exercises with South Korea. Again, very explicit reason to do that. The readiness of the soldiers that are there, and the message that it sends to Kim Jong-un about the active alliedship, the active partnership between South Korea and the United States, and that it's strong, and that we absolutely will come to the defense, we will come to the aid if he ever decides to fucking kick anything off. It says these exercises are not only costly, with much of these costs paid for by the United States of America, but send the signal that this is totally appropriate and hostile to a country that, as long as Donald J. Trump has been president, has been unthreatening and respectful. Okay? What did it say? You just got ratioed by a Truth Social? I don't know what that means. I did get tricked. I did get tricked by a Truth Social post. I didn't know it was a video. I was going all over the place trying to figure out what was going on. But I mean, can we break this down a little bit, right? Can we talk about the insanity of this, right? Please, anybody? Calling him literally unthreatening and respectful. He's quite honestly directly involved in the killing of civilians. There's a 1-to-1 connection between Kim Jong-un's hands, the blood on it, and the death of Ukrainian civilians. And we got the commander-in-chief, who's supposed to be an ally, right? Commander-in-chief of the country that, during the Budapest Memorandum, told Ukraine that if they gave up their nuclear stockpile, that we would definitely come to their aid. We would be a security force if Russia inevitably did do what they decided to do in 2022, that we would be there for them. So we've absolutely reneged on that promise, much like Donald Trump reneged on the promise of giving the licensing of the Patriot missiles to the Ukrainians so that they could develop them, so they could produce them, right? That was a big fucking lie. That was a big carrot dangled in the face of Volodymyr Zelensky that ultimately was ripped away. That could have been hugely beneficial down the line. Obviously, it wouldn't have helped right away, but at least there would have been some fucking light on the horizon as far as interceptors, as far as being able to defend your cities. Right? If anybody's new to this channel, I had just spent about 3 weeks in Kyiv under Russian missile attack, right? So the mental fucking mind games, right? The toll that it takes waking up at 45 times during the night, air raids at midnight, air raids at 1 o'clock, air raids at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Like that mental warfare that goes on is so devastating. Like when I got home from this trip, and I know it was a lot of driving, you don't get to sleep, like the jet lag when you get there, and then you don't get to have a good night's sleep ever because of the air raid warnings, like that stacks up. So just that little glimpse that I had gives me the insight to send my respect, to send my admiration to the people that are forced to live under that every single night. Okay, I was very fortunate, and I was in the position to be there and to be able to leave at some point, to get on a train, to go to Poland, to catch a flight back to Boston. The Ukrainian civilians don't have that. A lot of Ukrainian civilians don't have that opportunity. They have jobs, they have lives, they have kids, they have things they need to do, right? They don't have the ability to just fucking pick up. So I can't imagine having to do that day after day after day for nearly 5 years now and still have to go on with your daily life, which is why I respect the shit out of the Ukrainian people so goddamn much, and which is why I had such an amazing time, even being under Russian missile attack every night, spending time in the city of Kyiv, spending time around the people in Ukraine, seeing the sights, the beauty of the city, the size of the city, the talent in the city. When you go around and you see the people playing music, and you see on the weekends where on the different boardwalks and lookouts, you'll have just amazing street artists who post their stuff all over the place, and it's fucking fabulous, right? I made a video while I was there, and I was astonished at the amount of talent of people just randomly trying to sell their stuff on the streets of Ukraine. I mean, some of the paintings, drawings, sketches, woodwork, anything that you could think of No, there was just somebody with an amazing skill set there making those things to the point where I didn't know what was real or not. I had no idea. I'm not an art connoisseur by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever, but I don't know a reproduction or an AI generated fucking whatever made to look like a painting from a real one. But these things were absolutely unbelievable. I went with like the more eccentric the person looked that was selling it, the more likely he was an artist. You know, if he looked normal, like it probably was like fake. That's kind of the mindset that I had. If he had like strange hair and strange glasses and like a weird outfit, probably an artist, right? More likely to be an artist. But if he's wearing like a tracksuit and like jumpers and shit, like, nah, I don't know. You probably fucking made that with AI somehow. But anyway, back to the fact that we have a president that's beautiful people that I had the chance to spend, ample time with, now getting killed every single night. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen the video that I put out of the Russian missile attack that was very, very close to Maidan. And then ultimately the next day went and saw the attacks, and it was a civilian area, civilian buildings, civilian businesses. Had a chance to go to the McDonald's that had been burnt out and hit and struck and targeted by the Russians many times. That entire street basically had been erased, wiped out. No business can work. No homes, no apartments are left to live in. Nothing. It's just, but the McDonald's is open because they're obviously the most resilient in the world here. But all right, let's go back to the CNN clip that we were watching real quick, and then we'll go into the we'll go into the strikes on Perm too.
Hour. So, Nick, obviously this warning from Ukraine coming as Donald Trump has been making new overtures towards Kim Jong-un. So tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that broad familiarity now between Washington and Pyongyang not helping Ukraine here, who are seeing Russia resilient in terms of its military-industrial complex and seemingly constantly able to field new troops to the front line despite horrific casualty rates, still turning to North Korea for extra assistance. Now, these 8,500 troops currently on Russian soil are part of 25,000 that have been rotated since October 2024, when indeed we first had the signs of North Korea sending troops to assist Russia's war. They were on the territory of Kursk inside Russia, used to ultimately repel a Ukrainian invasion of Russian territory in Kursk. We understand from a senior Ukrainian official that new troops, as they arrive, will likely stay on Russian territory, but they'll come with capabilities that could be very damaging for Ukraine. One of those, ballistic missiles, 90 personnel, this Ukrainian senior intelligence official told me, have been sent to Voronezh already to assist with dozens of missiles, potentially KN-23, KN-24 ballistic missiles, some of which are already being fired into Ukraine, seeking to exploit the big gap in their air defenses. Separately, 400 North Korean personnel are now part of a drone unit that the Ukrainian intelligence official says are flying recon units over Ukrainian territory and possibly may be involved in
direct assistance, literally direct assistance in capabilities of killing our allies. Okay, that's what they're sending over. I just wanted to drill this home, right? I know it may be a little bit mundane, but this is the reality of what we're dealing with. Okay, it's insane. It's crazy to talk about that. Our leader, our president right now is praising the enemy, is praising the dictatorial murderous leader as our allies are being shot down and being killed on a nightly basis. But again, history will look back on this moment correctly. I assure you. History will remember the people that are in this moment right now and the people that spoke up, like you guys in the chat, you guys that support independent communities like this one, the people that have been fighting for God knows how long, for a better life, for a better way of life, for better healthcare, for better access to housing, all of these things that you guys espouse and that I am fucking pushing for myself. Like, that's the reality of the situation. It's the craziness that we go through and what we have to cover. So I apologize that it's not all flashy. It's not all, headline catching, but I think it's very important that we talk about these things. I really do. So, all right, just to get you, I know we're over, but fuck them. Like I said, this is a little bit about the strike on Perm. So we're going to get into, a little bit of this. This is kind of just a visual update from Sun that they give you. They put together a concoction of, the different vantage points of the strikes, and then they give you the commentary as far as words. So there's no person speaking, but this does put together some pretty good clips of the active strikes from Ukraine. So I just want to go through this real quick, and then we'll go into the professor video, who I'm sure explains these strikes that you're seeing in a little bit more detail. So again, hit that like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe to the channel. Very important that you guys do that, and also hit that notification bell. Again, my name's Boston Brian. This is the Blunt Politics Podcast, and I really do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day. We're going to cover a little bit here about the recent strikes overnight from the Ukrainians into Russian territory, hammering away at the oil refineries again. This one is, I believe, about Ufa. So thank you guys so much. So you can see there the angle of, I'm not sure what type of drone that was. I didn't really catch it, but this is the angle from the Russians, obviously, filming this on their phone of the strikes on the Ufa oil refinery. Again, it's been struck before, but obviously the Ukrainians are going back at it this time. And like I said, this is just kind of a compilation of some of the angles from these attacks. It says here, locals reported multiple explosions and pillars of smoke rising from the complex, one of Russia's largest oil refineries. I'm going to speed it up just a touch so maybe we can get to the words a little quicker. So you can see the smoke billowing up in the background from the strike. There's another angle. It says, elsewhere, a swarm of Ukrainian strike drones reportedly attacked a Tavri power station in the Russian-occupied Crimea, something that we've seen time and time again. The Ukrainians taking out these power stations, trying to hamper, again, the ability to have power down there, obviously sending a message. And this is another one down there. It was attacking the Tavri power station. So you can see the air defense is going up. Taking FP1. This footage shows a moment that the Pantsir missile system misses a Ukrainian attack drone by roughly 30 feet over Nizhnekamsk. So you can see here the Russians trying to fire back. Obviously missing this missile right here. Sorry, I went back a little too far. My apologies. Next one. This one. There we go. Иди сюда. It looked to be an FP1, if I'm not mistaken. That was, again, not even fucking remotely close from that from the interceptor that was apparently shot down. There's another one here. This footage shows a moment a Romanian Air Force F-16 struck an unknown sea drone operating near the country's Black Sea Neptune deep gas project. As Ukraine later confirmed to Romanian and NATO officials that the drone was not theirs, so not Ukraine's. Oh shit, took it out right there, huh? What we got here? We got footage shows the moment Ukrainians 1,129th Anti-Aircraft Missile Regiment used OSA air defense systems to hunt Russian jet-powered drones. Impact. So again, you can see the effectiveness of the drone defenses. This is the Ukraine's 63rd Mechanized Brigade continues targeting Russian logistics, destroying UAZ vans used by Putin's forces to transport supplies. Obviously, the supply chain, the supply routes have been under heavy attack by the Russians, by the Ukrainians, and this is just a little bit more showing that. Bye-bye. We see you. Bye-bye. Oh, look at them all scattering. You see them all fucking scattering? Watch this. You see all the Russians scattering? Check this out. All ready? We're gonna go. We're gonna clip by clip. Look at them. Look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 5 behind it, and maybe 6, unless this is a tree up here. Guy right here running away as well. Bye bye. Bye bye. Sayonara. Suka. Bye-bye. Oh, I love this shit. I could watch this shit all day long. Just taking them out one by one. Oh, big one. We got a big one. Nice. Okay, we got here FPV drones from the 43rd Mechanized Brigade are hunting and destroying Russian military hardware, including tanks and armored vehicles. Let's fucking go! Bye-bye. Oh, another one. Bye-bye. How's that fucking defense working? Huh? How's that big shield around your tank working? Good? Okay. Oh, yeah. Dunzo. Bye-bye. Oopsie poopsies. Oopsie poopsies. All right, so a little bit of that from some of the strikes there from the Ukrainians overnight. Switch over here because I know I'm way over. My apologies. But let's see if we can get into a little bit of the, more detailed coverage of some of these strikes here. Obviously, it says another good night as far as that's concerned. But the ratio, again, continues to work in the favor of the Ukrainians as far as drones being sent to Russia compared to the drones and missiles being sent the other way. Again, not taking or diminishing any of the damage or destruction that the Russians are able to inflict whatsoever. But the Ukrainians still sending up a shitload of drones the Russians' way every single night. So again, we'll go over just a couple minutes of this. At the end of the show, I thank everybody for their financial contributions. If you guys send in a super chat, super sticker, if you hit a milestone, if you sent me anything on Venmo, please stick around to the end of the show so I can thank you. It really means a lot for you guys to continue to support this show, to continue to support, my venture here and the community that we've built. So again, I just like to set aside some time at the end of the show to make sure I thank you guys. So let's get through this. I'll speed it up just a touch. All right, and we'll get out of here. I appreciate you guys.
Night hitting a oil refinery.
Hold on. I'll start it from the beginning, for Christ's sakes. I hate when I start it from the third word. All right, here we go.
It's Friday, August 21st, 2026.
Sure is.
Ukraine had a solid night hitting a oil refinery then a number of military objects. I'll show you each of these. Compared to last night, it was absolutely wonderful. Compared to any other night, it was just a good night. I mean, they were hitting the right things. Russia, of course, hitting civilian targets, even though they claim they don't do it. Let's go and see what was going on. So overnight.
It looks like Professor got a little bit of a haircut. Looks like he's spiffing up. He's spiffy.
Right here, this is Drone Bomber showing us 330 drones reported going into.
So again, we take a look at this daily, basically, the amount of drones that the Ukrainians are able to launch into Russian territory. So every time we watch Professor's videos, he does a good job. Shout out to Professor. I don't know if it's, if he ever sees my stuff, that would be fantastic. But, I appreciate you guys putting this together. It's basically all the information that I run through before the show anyway, but he does a very good job of kind of, putting it in one space. So we utilize his videos a lot, and I do respect and thank him for doing this work. But we talk about this pretty much daily. We want to talk about this and keep everybody up to speed on what's going on. This is what we look at, and this says, and again, take it with a grain of salt, according to Russian sources. So they have a reason to, again, utilize the fog of war and propaganda to lie about their shit. But looking at both sides so we can gain our accurate picture of what's actually taking place in the middle. It says, according to Russian sources, around 330 drones were reported, though the estimates and displayed routes remain highly approximate. So again, grain of salt.
Russia, 330, and you can see where the patterns are of where they're going. The big, well, before I get to the big one, Russia Defense Ministry claimed that its air defenses shot down 300.
Again, a lot of these aren't reported. We report on the spicy strikes, right? The strikes on the big oil refineries, the strikes on the wild berries. Obviously we talk about the supply chain and the effectiveness of the Ukrainian drones and taking them out, but nobody really, and let's see if I can catch the moment here. Doesn't he show it a little bit more? Does he not? Am I crazy? Oh, there it is right here. All right, stop it. There it is, right? For crying out loud. I thought he brings up the whole map. Anyway, what we're talking about is like these amount of strikes, like you're not hearing about all of these. So you can see up here in Bryansk, right? Going towards Penza, down into Crimea. Like look at all these arrows. Each individual arrow is something that was launched by the Ukrainians into Russian territory, right? So it's crazy that you only hear kind of the surface level strikes, but there's a ton of shit happening that the Russians are facing right now, that the Ukrainians, the Russian civilians are noticing the ramped up fucking number of drones, Ukrainian drones that are coming into their territory. So again,
30 drones reported going into Russia.
I think he brings it up.
And 30.
Yeah, here you go, right here. So this is what I was looking for. So so down here in Odessa, going into Sevastopol, Novorossiysk, right? Rostov-on-Don, down in Donetsk, over here down towards Saratov, Voronezh, right? Over and around Belgorod, Sumy, Kursk, Orol. Like it's all over the place, and hundreds and hundreds. And sometimes, from what we've seen by reports, on near thousands of drones that Ukrainians are able to send the Russians' way on a nightly basis, right? So, all right, let's continue. My apologies.
Where the patterns are of where they're going. The big, well, before I get to the big one, Russia Defense Ministry claimed that its air defenses shot down 325. It seems improbable that they shot down 325 out of 300.
Yeah, so they had... This is what I'm talking about. They don't even lie correctly, right? They can't even lie right, the Russians. So they think what they're saying is that Ukraine sent up 330 drones. What Russia is saying that they shot down 325 of them. So if only 5 drones made it through is what they're saying. I'm calling absolute bullshit. bullshit right off the fucking jump. Right off the rip, I'm calling that bullshit. But all right, let's go on to that perma strike here.
As many shot down as Ukraine says was going in.
So it says, drone attack reported on oil refinery in Russia's Perm. Excuse me, did I say Ufa before? My apologies. I think I said the Ufa refinery before. That's my apologies. Take that back. Flip it. It's the Perm refinery. Russia's defense ministry claimed its air defenses shot down 325 drones last night, like we said. Then it goes on here. It says, Ukraine's first separate unmanned system center and other defense forces struck the Lukoil Perm Neftogarintstes refinery more than 1,500 kilometers from the front line in the Merinkova military airfield in Volgograd, also known as Stalingrad. The refinery has a design capacity of about 13 million tons of oil per year. And I think they have some footage there, or at least a picture of that on fire, too.
Telgorsinets refinery. I'm just going to call it Perm moving forward, if you don't mind. And so this night, our deep strikes...
And again, I'll read a little bit here from Zelensky, and we'll get you guys out of here. I know I'm way over. It says, Zelensky, we continue with our long-range sanctions to bring the consequences of the war back to where it came from. This night, our deep strikes hit the refinery in Perm at a distance of over 1,600 kilometers from the border and the military airfield in Merinkova in the Volgograd region. These are results in the waters. There are results in the waters of the Black Sea as well. We have also confirmed results from previous strikes at the Akhtubinsk airfield in a Russian Su-34 aircraft that was damaged. Distance about 600 kilometers from the front lines, and in Primorsko-Akhtarsk, nearly 180 kilometers, the storage, preparation, and launch site for drones. Strike drones was hit with Russians with Russian strike people. Fuck me. It's been a long show. So that's the statement there from the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky about just some of the recent strikes that the Ukrainians were able to perform. Now, maybe before I let you go, I'm going to take off a couple of these things. Hang around for just a second because I got to continue to thank you guys. So make sure you don't go anywhere, please. And again, anybody that hasn't hit that like button, if you joined us late, if you could do that right now, that would be fantastic. But I'm going to go to just show you real quick because I like doing this. I'm a maps guy. I'm a big maps guy. Like looking at the maps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Perm. Right, and I'm just going to show you where we're actually talking about because a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people don't actually show you where we're talking about. They'll tell you about it, but I think it's a little bit more informative if you actually see what we're talking about. Right, so we're going to go and I'll show you this. Put this on the screen real quick. All right, so this is Perm, okay? I can get this out of here. You lost connection to your browser. Oh, fucking A. Hold on. I got to reconnect. My apologies. That's my fault. I'm sorry about that one. Shouldn't let that happen. That's the same. All right, we're back at it. All right, here we go. So this is Perm, right? So what we do is we're just gonna zoom out. We'll just zoom out and see where this is in relation to Ukraine. Obviously, see where they're able to strike and how defenseless the Russians actually are. Okay, so we're looking at Moscow over here. What's the distance to Moscow? All right, we got Moscow here. That's 1 point. And what'd they say? It was over here. Add point. No, I got to move the map. Hold on. Let me move the map to Moscow. All right, so that's a point. I'm going to go over here to where I believe Perm was, somewhere in this area. Right? Add point here. So we're about 1,000 miles from Moscow. Okay? Roughly. It's in this general vicinity here. But that's craziness. And then if you go over here to Ukraine, right, and you look at where Perm was, and I exit out for some reason. I don't know. Where'd it go? Christ. Now I'm going to type it in again for Christ's sakes. All right, let me type it in. Perm, Russia. I can't be far away. There we go. I knew I'd find it. But that's crazy in relationship to Ukraine, right? And it just shows a complete inability for Russia to protect these places. I mean, we're talking about let's go from Kyiv. Okay, we'll go Kyiv, first added point. And we'll go, I think they said it was something like 1,800 kilometers or something like that. So where the fuck am I going? I think it's somewhere in this general vicinity right here. So we'll go here too. So about 1,100 miles, and you can change that if you want to kilometers if you know how to do the conversion there. But a fair lick, let's just say. And that's not the farthest. Clearly, we've seen Omsk, the Omsk refinery here. We've seen this hit. I think there was a couple other ones down in this region as well. We've seen Chita have some problems. Irkutsk have some problems. And these are on the fucking Mongolian border, right? You couldn't get any. Well, you can get farther away since Russia's the biggest place the fucking ever. Thing's absolutely enormous. Absolutely fucking enormous. But yeah, I just wanted to show you exactly where we're talking about as far as the Perm refinery. My apologies again for calling it the UFA, but there has been attacks on UFA as well. So I just had that in my head. But thank you guys for sticking around. Great show today. Sorry that I kind of let loose a little bit there. Hopefully I kind of kick up some dust. I wouldn't mind that. Wouldn't mind a little dust kicking, maybe kind of people taking notice of what I said, maybe even reacting to what I said, and we can continue to go back and forth. Maybe that'll raise my profile. Maybe that'll raise the spotlight that I can get here at Blunt Politics. Would be fantastic. So if you could share out any portion of this show, right? If you want to clip it, you want to send it out on social media, you have my absolute permission to do so, and just tag me in it. Tag me in it, and we'll share it around, and hopefully we piss some people off. Seems like that's the only way you can really make it in this, because if you piss people off, they start talking about you. When they start talking about you, people listen, people know about you, they recognize you, they start watching you. So fuck everybody. Fuck them all. We'll do this by our goddamn selves. And again, that's not to say that nobody has helped or anything. That's not what I'm trying to get through. We have some great friends and companions here on the show, people that have helped tremendously in making this happen. So I don't want to discount anything that people have done for the show, but you guys know what I mean. So, all right, let's get into thanking some Venmo peeps. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best for keeping this show running. Much, much appreciated to the people. And again, the daily names that I see, you guys are just fucking unbelievable. I can't thank you guys enough. So, all right, let's see here if we can go in order. First one up today is going to be Joey. Joey H. What's up, brother? Thank you so much. Shout out to you. Hope you're having a great day. He says, and sent in $20. Thank you so much for the $20, Joe. He says, LOL, tell us how you really feel about Michael Cohen. I think I held back a little bit. I did. I think I held back just a touch. I'm not sure if I got everything out I wanted to say, but Joe, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for watching. Honestly, just being here is unbelievable. Thank you to, I hope I don't say this wrong, Marianthe. Am I getting that right? Marianthe. Marianthe. So Marianthe, thank you so much, very much for your $25 Venmo, and the last name begins with F. In case I'm getting the name wrong, you can obviously know who you are. But thank you so much for the 25 and the message. She says, fellow sparkler in support of your content. Oh, thank you, Marianthe. That's amazing. Thank you guys for all of the support on all of the shows that you guys watch. Like I said, I try to give you guys as much credit as humanly possible for not just doing the work and doing the, getting down and dirty with the news in this chat, but you guys are all over the place. You guys are, and some of the people in the chat have their own shows, right? Fantastic people, unbelievable people that have great opinions and want to do great things in this country. So you guys are the shit, okay? Making this a possibility and watching these shows and contributing and joining the Zooms and being in the Patreon. Like, I love it. I love you guys. I can't thank you guys enough. So sparklers, Bryantologists, anybody from any community that watches this for even any period of time, you don't have to watch the whole show if you don't care to, even if you pop in for a couple minutes, much, much appreciated. So Marianthe, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. That is very nice of you. Jeffrey, thank you, brother. Jeffrey D, you know who you are. I don't know why I have to say that. With the 420, as usual. Love it, love it. He says, quote, Brian, you are all that matters to me. He said it. He's doing the Natalie Hart. Brian, you are all that matters to me. I don't ever want to let you down. You are my guardian and protector in this lifetime with all my heart. Gin Natalie, this is just a tip, not a financial backing. That's fucking amazing. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. And that's Gin up the base in the chat in case anybody wants to give him a shout out and a W in the chat. Much appreciated, brother. That's awesome. Peter, right behind you. Thank you, Peter L. Very, very much for your contribution. Thanks, Brian, for your dedication and integrity. Flipper. Oh, Flipper, let's go. That's great. Now, you know what? I hope this isn't disrespectful, but I was picturing a female this whole time. All right, I was somehow picturing Flipper being a female. It's tough. I mean, give me a break. All I'm getting is a fucking screen name, right, in words. So it's great to, and I love this. Like the Zooms where you can get put a face behind the names. That's fantastic. I love that. So Flipper, thank you so much. I have information. Thank you for the $10 on Venmo. You are amazing, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Next up is going to be Brian H. Very, very familiar name that we see here on the Venmos. Thank you, Bri Guy. As always, can't thank you enough for the $10. And he says, God bless Hal, but some days his tech. It's something that we all deal with. It is. I have absolutely no fucking soapbox to stand on as far as the tech side is concerned, right? I'm lucky enough the lights are on and the microphone's working. You know what I mean? I'm lucky enough that thing says I'm live. So on that front, I'm going to stick with just thanking you for your $10 contribution. Very much appreciated. I like I say to everybody, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day there, Bri Guy. Thank you so much. And then who else? We got, did I see a couple just come in there? Oh, Nancy, thank you so much. Nancy just snuck one in. Nancy sent over 20. She says, you're going to need a 150-gallon fish tank, not just a swear jar. I know. I know. And the YouTube gods don't care for, salty language too much. So I think that's another reason. But again, why am I going to change myself? I'm not coming here to be something else so that I can make it big. I'm being me. This is who I am. This is what I believe. You guys, what you see is what you get, right? I mean, I'm sure there's some people in the chat that I've had the amazing opportunity to meet in person, and it's just I am me. That's it. I'm not acting. This isn't something I'm pretending to do. I'm not pretending to believe that Donald Trump is a fascist. I'm not pretending to believe that people should have access to healthcare and that there shouldn't be women dying on the fucking steps of hospitals because the doctors wouldn't perform some sort of procedure when they were pregnant. Like I don't. That's not the life that I want to live in. I know that for fucking goddamn sure. We're the richest country that this fucking planet's ever seen, and we have people struggling like we are. Nope. No thanks. I don't give a fuck about your 14 fucking yacht. I don't care about your fucking Swedish swimsuit models. Fuck you. Build a hospital, cocksucker. Stick that fucking money where it's useful. But no, they continue to rob and rape, pillage, and plunder all the working class, blue collar people here that make their companies run, right? If we fucking marched out, if we left these factories, they wouldn't fucking make a penny. That would shut shit down, wouldn't it? That would fucking make people change their mind. People have to recognize that we hold the fucking power in this country, okay? We hold the power, the workers, the blue collar people, the working class of this country. We hold the fucking power. You don't go to work, these factories don't run. You don't go to work, these corporations don't make money. You don't go to fucking work, they can't buy their next yacht. They can't be looking at helicopters. They can't be looking at ways to fucking dodge and utilize loopholes for their fucking taxes so they don't have to give back into the society to build roads, bridges, railways, help with fucking different communities and shit. They don't do that. No, they stick it into, different funds offshore, or, they got 47 fucking Ferraris while people are starving to death on the streets. Not my country, not my fucking time, not on my watch. I can tell you that much. So, Nancy, thank you so goddamn much. Very much appreciated. And Brian, did you just sneak that one in? Is this another one, or did I read this? But no, it's different. It's different. All right, thank you, Bri. Much appreciated. I think you just snuck this one in. He says, with another $5 Venmo, he said, you went way out on the limb, but Cohen needs a good beating. I don't know. Like, I live on a limb. I have my entire life has been on a limb. Like, if you were to ask my friends if they thought I was going to make it this far in life, they would assuredly say no. They would say, absolutely fucking not. Was he going to live to see 40? But I'm here, I'm kicking, I'm fighting, I'm aggressive, right? I'm passionate about these issues, and I don't hold back. So if you like a show where a guy wears his fucking heart on his sleeve, you found it, okay? So hit that subscribe button, hit that fucking notification button, so the bell or whatever they call it, so you know when I go live. Check out the shorts. Check out me, check me out on social media. Hit me up on Blue Sky. Hit me up on Instagram. We're trying to grow all these platforms. So it's with your help, dedication, and thanks. A huge thanks to the mods, as always. As always, thank you to the mods. Please, if we could give some love and respect to all the mods, whether it's whatever platform they may be on. Thank you guys for making this a possibility, because I know sometimes that chat gets messy, it gets crazy, and it has the ability to shut the channel down if people get out of control. So thank you guys for dealing with the bullshit. Thank you for sifting through all of the the trolls and shit and allowing them to be here, because again, the growth only comes when you have opposition, right? When you see more opposition coming in, you're getting somewhere. You're being your show's being shown to different people, and it may be just one or two people, because again, we're not the biggest growing channel by any stretch of the imagination, probably on the bottom of that rung, but I don't give a fuck. We're going to persevere with a little show that keeps going, and it's all because of you guys. It really is. So lastly, check out my interview with Jesse Dollemore. I think he said it's going to go out 7 p.m. tonight. I think it's going to be a collaboration, so I believe that means you can watch it on either of our channels, both Jesse's channel and my channel. And again, I talk about you guys. I bring up the chat. So I want to make sure that you guys check that out, and if you could support that and show that some love and put on a comment and share that out, that would be fantastic. So all right, stay proud, stay loud, stay aggressive. Make sure you stay informed, but most importantly, stay in the fight, people. Please, we need you. It's very important that you, again, take care of yourself as well. Make sure you're taking time for yourself. If you need a break, take it. If you need to take a walk, take a walk. You need to read a book, read a book. Okay? It's not worth your mental health if you feel like you're getting run down, frustrated, angry, not being able to deal with this. Take some time. Take some time, center yourself, come back stronger than ever, and again, we can continue this fight. But, I'm here to make sure that you guys stay happy and healthy and involved, and hopefully you guys will support me in that journey. So my name's Boston Brian. This is the Blunt Politics Podcast, and I will send you guys on your way. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you. Oh, shit, I lied. I'm an idiot. I have to go here to YouTube. What an absolute twat bag I am. Sorry, guys. Almost forgot the whole YouTube. All right, let's go. Peter, first up. Let's go. My bad, Peter. He sent in $10. Much appreciated, my friend. Thank you so goddamn much. He says, along with this brave sailor, some of the most decorated units in World War II were African Americans, the Tuskegee Airmen, the Red Tails, 761st, 758, Black Panthers tank battalions. Fucking 1,000% right, Peter. Wish I could give you a fucking high five and a pound right now. Pound, like a nice pound. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I was being violent there. No. But yeah, 100,000% right, right? What it wasn't the if I'm not mistaken, the Weareth 11, right? Anybody hear that story? Anybody hear that story? Let's see. I'll put this on the screen. We'll do a little fucking history lesson. Thank you, Peter. Love you, Peter. Much appreciated. Thank you for throwing that up there. But the Weareth 11 were 11 African-American soldiers from the segregated 333rd Field Artillery Battalion who were tortured and murdered by Nazi SS troops on December 17 December 1944 during the Battle of the Bulge in Belgium. Their story is detailed in the documentary film The Weareth 11. So again, one of the atrocities committed by these SS during their reign and plunge into Belgium during the Battle of the Bulge. It says the men belonged, like I said, to the 333rd. It was an all-black U.S. Army unit that faced heavy combat during the early days of the German offensive. You should look at the actual documentary and see what they went through in artillery battalion, literally forced to take up arms in close-quarter combat. It said they were separated from the unit. The 11 hiked through deep snow and sought shelter at a farmhouse in Weareth, Belgium, owned by the Langer family, who welcomed them with food and warmth. A local patrol or sympathizer reported them, so they got fucking ratted out by a prick, similar to probably Michael Cohen. And Waffen SS troops arrived. The soldiers surrendered without resistance, but they were marched into a nearby field, brutally tortured, and ultimately executed. The 11 men were Curtis Adams, Magger Bradley, George Davis Jr., Thomas Forte, Robert Green, James Leatherwood, Nathaniel Moss, George Moten, William Pritchett, James Stewart, and Dew Turner. For decades, the atrocity was largely overlooked by mainstream media. In 1994, the son of the farmhouse owner erected a small stone cross at the site, which led to the creation of the U.S. official memorial for the U.S. memorial in Weareth in Belgium. So, again, multiple stories. Absolutely right. Brought on by Peter there. He's 1,000% right. Couldn't be any more right in what he said. Thank you so much for the $10. But thank you even more for, again, your comments there, your insight there. Much appreciated. Thank you to Tina for the 6 jewels. Tina, great seeing you here. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Can't thank you enough for your contributions. Really, really means a lot to the channel. So thank you so much. Thank you, Laurie, for the 10 jewels. Thank you so much. Happy poop. What's going on here? What's happening? I'm definitely missing something when it comes to these jewels. I'm just not on the right page here. I don't know. I got to read the book here. All right. Thank you, Laurie. I love seeing you as always. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. Great seeing you in the Zooms always. Thank you so much for being in the chat and watching. Then thank you, Bob, for 2 $10 jewels with the hiding. You sent one there, one here. Much appreciated, Bob. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Let's see here. JD Christie. Let's go with the $10 sent in. Let's fucking go. Natalie, don't make eye contact. Yeah, right. Yeah. If you make it's like you'll turn into stone or something. But thank you, Jeff. Much, much appreciated. Did I say JD or Jeff? What's going on? How did that happen? Good God. I'm losing it. I'm losing it today. This is the one I was talking about. JD, thank you so much for the $9.99. The overdue profanity bonus. Much, much appreciated. I don't even know where the other. Oh, they did come here. All right. This is the next one. That's why I got it mixed up. I clicked the wrong one. Thank you, Jeff. Much appreciated. Sorry, I misnamed you, but that's just hilarious. Don't make eye contact with Natalie Hop. You're going to turn to stone. Much appreciated, Jeff. Thank you for being here, my dude. Let's see here. Super Saint, 250 jewels with the laughing disco. Again, not a fucking clue what that means, but I am so very grateful for what you're sending in, Super Saint. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this. Like I said, hope you're having a great one. Laurie again with the 5 jewels and a treat. Sounds because I'm starving. Fucking starving like Marvin over here, kid. All right, let's see here. Jerry, thank you so much. Slava Ukraini. Hi, Boston Brian, she says. And I say to you, I want to put it up. Wow, Jerry. Jerry, you're getting screwed here. Oh, now the chat's just not working. Oh, there you are. There you are. Heroyam Slava. That's what I was going to say to you. We're having fun here. We're having fun. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Colleen, for the 10. I was Natalie back in late 80s, early 90s after my dad died. I was 18, made many poor choices to find a replacement, dealt with stalkers and usuals, grateful to be a single senior. Like I said, I stayed away from the whole loss of dad. And I'm sure there's some, psychological impacts clearly that have led to what we're seeing now from Natalie Harp. So like I said, I'm not there to bash on, whatever she's feeling and however she's dealing with the loss of her father. That's hers and hers alone. And again, I'm not here to do any of that. I'm here to call out the political aspects, the way in which that she's hurting the United States, the people that she works for, that type of stuff. So, Colleen, sorry to hear that you had to go through that. Great to see that you've become the the person that you are today, and that you're contributing to chats like this, and you're very active, and we love having you here. So great to see you, Colleen. Thank you so much for the 10. Thank you, Jim, as always. He says, my Jim the Geek 2028 campaign donation to the Switch. Everybody's running in 2028, right? When's Hal announcing his fucking campaign? I thought he was going to announce his campaign sometime soon, right? He's got to get that out there. But thank you, Jim. Much appreciated. You got my vote. I tell you that much. You got my vote. Jimmy Two Soups. What's happening, brother? How are you, dude? I said Cohen's best legal retort. Says who? Yeah, I mean, again, it's all about him. The memes. It's he's back to being that lapdog. Never left being that lapdog, but had to utilize the left, had to manipulate the left to make as much fucking money as he possibly could before he could inevitably say, nope, I'm out, and go back to get that pardon and ultimately live in Donald Trump's taint. Jimmy Two Soups, for 5 months of loyalty and being a member. Thank you, brother. Shout out to you. Very much appreciated. Let's go. Sammy Joe. How are you doing, dear? Thank you so much for the 10 jewels and the gold coin. Always love seeing you here. Very much appreciated. Hope you're having a great day. Let's see here. JD Christie back in the house. Extra potty mouth bonus. I know. I was ripping it. Nobody's going to watch this. YouTube's not going to show this to anybody. I was ripping into them. But hopefully you guys do. Clip it. Send it to whoever you fuck you want. I don't care. Let's stir this shit up. Time to stir it up. JD, thank you so much for the 5. Very much appreciated. David Weiss, do the math. Number 1. Fuck, I hate math. I don't want to do math. I loved math until they started incorporating the alphabet. Like, what are we doing here? The alphabet's the alphabet. Fucking numbers and numbers. Why are we doing? I don't want a 1A. I don't want a 1X. I want 1. X can stay over there until I spell a word that has an X in it. Why the fuck you got to complicate things? I don't know. But appreciate you, David, as always. And another one. Do the math, number 2. Appreciate you, dude. Always great seeing you in the chat and always in the Zooms. Very much appreciated. Tina, back at it with 10 jewels. Thank you so much again, Tina. Thank you, Laurie, again for the happy poop. I don't know. Eddie! Let's go, brother. Fucking Eddie. Eddie's the man. Eddie is the absolute fucking man. W's in the chat for Eddie. Eddie was one of my companions and a fucking veteran of the NAFO organization and the campaigns that they do, the journeys that they do. This guy's the expert right here, and he keeps the party going. He keeps the fun alive. He's a Bostonite. Hardcore. You gotta love it. I mean, could see it right off the bat. But he lives in Estonia, so and he's just a fantastic guy. Had an unbelievable time getting to hang with him and do this mission, and such an impactful time to be with this like humanitarian group. So Eddie, all the love in the world, dude. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for everything you do outside of this too. I mean, I don't know the exact number of times that you've done these convoys, but I know it's a good amount. I know you've spent a lot of time in sleepless nights doing this stuff. So shout out to you, Eddie. Much appreciated. Thank you for the $10, and I'll throw that right in the switch. Aaron, let's go. 23 months, much appreciated. Love it here, and we love having you here. That's the good thing. We love having you. It's not just a place that you love and don't get appreciation and nobody ever gives anything back. No, we love having you here, Aaron. So much appreciated. Jeff as well with the $2. Where's JD's love letter? Not going to happen. Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny? We found JD was leaving love letters around the White House for Donald Trump. Who would be surprised, right? I mean, nothing at all should surprise you coming from this administration. Absolutely nothing. So, Jeff, hope you have a great day, brother. Where'd I leave off? I think it was, Peter's back in action with the $10 contribution. Shout out to you, brother. As a 50-year veteran to trucking and construction, thanks for the shout out to reality. Transportation and construction are part of the foundation of we the people actually doing it. Absolutely, Peter. I'm fucking amen to you. Amen to you. Like, I mean, the people that actually make this country function are not the billionaires, okay? It's not the 1%ers. It's not. It's not the fucking high-profile people that get all the recognition. It's fucking Peter. It's people in this chat. It's Bicycle Mike. It's fucking Eddie who's helping out. It's Laurie. It's Aaron. It's Tina. It's David. It's everybody in this chat right now that makes this country function. Okay, so it is you guys where they rip and steal and cheat and take the money right off of your fucking plate, right off of your fucking dinner table, and they go out and they buy their yacht. So shout out to you, Peter. Thank you so much for your service, for continuously making this country function, and obviously your kind contributions. Can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. Jim's. Hold on. Did I get that one right? Where did I leave off? Dave's. Oh, I went up. That's my fault. All right, here we go. Bicycle Mike's next. He says, F Trump, F Israel, F cancer. So, Bicycle Mike, thank you so much. Shout out to you for the $2 contribution. Again, just a very valued member of the community. Love seeing you in the chats. Love seeing you in the Zooms. Thank you so much for the $2 there. Very much appreciated. That's rounding it out today, guys. So, I'm going to let you go. It's been a long show. And I think I think my dad called this one. Typically, I'm worried about things to talk about and filling the show, and then it comes to it where I'm an hour over. So sorry to take up your time. If I took up your time, sorry to step on anybody's toes. If there was other shows that you guys watched during this time, but I had to vent. I had to get it out. I have the platform to do it, so I did it. So all right, mods. Thank you so much. Shout out to you. Shout out to the chat. Best chat in the fucking world right here at Blunt Politics. And until you experience it, you can't fucking know. So hit that. Come on. I was rolling. I was on a roll. Oh, thank you, Shockey. Thank you, Shockey. I was on a roll and I hit one button. Fucking Christ. Shockey sent in and been a member for 9 months. Try to have a good kip. Loveler. Are you guys drinking? I love when you guys are drinking. I appreciate it. Cheers to you, Shockey. I'm just kidding. I'm not saying that you are, but much appreciated. Thank you for being a member for 9 months. Love having you here. Love seeing the international guests, the international people that contribute. It is absolutely fucking incredible. So thank you so much. Sorry. Sorry. I hit the wrong button. I don't even know how that would happen. Like what button I would have to hit to make me just automatically pop out. I couldn't do that again if I tried. If I wanted to do what I just did, I couldn't do it. I don't know what button I hit. Not a clue. So, all right, I'm out of here. I love, respect, appreciate, so much gratitude to you guys and what you guys have done and continue to do for this channel and just democracy in general. So, again, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Again, we're trying to get to 25K before midterms. And 7 o'clock Eastern, check out my interview with Jesse Dahmer. Please and thank you. So, all right, I'm out of here. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive, stay informed, but stay in the fight. Most importantly, we need you. We need you very, very much. So thank you, guys. Keep your head on a swivel. We're just not pissed off enough in this country. You guys are seeing what's going on, right? We're acting like it's normal. We're going about daily life. We're just not pissed off enough. So get the fuck out of your seats and into the streets. And like I said, keep your head on a swivel. All right, I'm out of here. My name's Brian, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching the Blunt Politics podcast, the little political podcast that could, the ones that call out the mainstream media, gaslighting, propaganda, and everything else. And we have the best chat in the world. So what else are you going to do? You can't beat it. Can't beat it. Mods, big salute. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I'm out of here. I will see you. What's today? I'll see you Sunday. See you Sunday for the Sunday show. All right. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую. Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
What uranium is, right? This thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things. Wrong.
The population in Thailand is 63 million people. It is twice the size of Wyoming. Its chief exports are textiles, footwear, and rice. Each year, approximately 13,000 people are killed in car accidents in Thailand.
You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know it very well. I've become an expert on guns. Yesterday's a hard word for me. Just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated?
Oh, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off!
Oh, go fuck yourself.
Вітаю, Бостон Брайан. Мій позивний танцор. Я представник 72-ї бригади. Дякую тобі і твоїм підписникам за цей донат, за цю чудову машину, яка буде нас возити усіх на позиції, захищати Україну і наближати перемогу. Разом усі до перемоги. Дякую.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis. I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
The big, fat, sloppy United